looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. This is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Is a dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh! Yeah. There's something in there.
Want one?
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. It was worth it. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. You just can't. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach, hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side. Go.
I can't do it.
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, do you the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, that's no worries. I got it.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
Good evening, everyone, and welcome to week one of NECC Nationals. We're stepping into Valorant Division 2. My name is Sam Tonks. Joining me, none other than the phenomenal Zobi. Zobi, we have a great matchup here tonight. We have Texas A&M White going up against University of Waterloo Warriors Gold. So, right, we're stepping into Division 2. We got a bombastic look at how Division 1 has been handling things now. But seeing these two teams right now, obviously starting off with Texas A&M White, Zigna, Pico, probably Carrot and Winter. Zobi, I'll let you take care of the Waterloo Warriors side.
Yeah, we got Justin DeQuavius Pork. We had a lot of discussion about that name. Swashy, Trill, and a P. And I think the two names that stick out to me in some recessed part of my memory is Zigna for Tamu White and Justin from Warriors Gold. So those are two players I think I'm going to be keeping an eye out for to see, like, wait, aha moment, this is where I know them from. But only the future will tell for those two.
Yeah, absolutely. And just to touch a little bit on how these two teams performed in playoffs, right? We take a look at Tamu White placing fourth in their Division 2 playoffs in the West Central. Waterloo Warriors placing third in their division playoffs for the East side of things. So, yeah, both of these two teams making it relatively far into their brackets, now looking to improve upon themselves even further inside of Nationals.
Yeah, no, this is a story of redemption for the first round of playoffs, these upper quarterfinals, and what a better way to kick things off than completely shutting out the collegiate special, you know, maybe minus Lotus if you embrace the new collegiate. But Haven, Ascent, gone, right? It's gonna be Lotus, Pearl, and if we make it the distance, Fracture, which I'm actually really excited for this pool.
I've never wanted to go all of the way in a map series as much as I have right now. This is some of the most interesting Valorant map-wise that we've seen in quite some time, Zobi. I mean, starting off with Lotus is such a, that's right. That's kind of like the warm-up map, the Warriors, that being their map choice, one that they feel confident on, and one that I think, looking back history-wise for them, is a solid choice, especially when you take out Haven, Tamu White wanting to make sure that you don't have a comfortability ground sort of say when it comes to the collegiate special, and even more so when you look at their map pick ban of Ascent. So Tamu White really wanting to upset the natural flow and order of traditional Valorant.
And I do want to like touch on this pool a little bit because I think the Warriors are kind of the poised team to win this best of three, but I feel like Tamu has like the redemption story going for them. Like not only like we mentioned, both of these teams kind of went out in the lowers, but Tamu, after losing, I think the opponent FF'd in the lower finals too. So like they could have had an opportunity to make a deeper run. And also Lotus is a map that they did win in that best of three after they lost it 1-2 in that playoffs division that you were talking about. So did Waterloo pick the right map to start off this best of three? I'm not so sure. It's a pretty strong map as well for the side of Tamu. So there is a world that they could get the ball rolling in their favor. If not, then we'll see how map 2 of Pro goes.
Yeah, and I mean, even just taking a cursory glance at how Tamu White did in their playoffs bracket split was a notoriously difficult map for them. But looking at their Pearl, right, versus Tiff and Dragons, I went 13-10. It's seeing how they perform on, again, maps that are kind of upsetting, but their bread and butter so far looks like, yeah, it has been just Lotus for this team, and a place that they, for them to be able to start off with, could be looking at that early evening here for Tamu White, unless the Warriors have something up their sleeves to really show what they're made of inside of Nationals.
Yeah, I mean, Lotus, don't get me wrong, it's not been a bad map either for this squad. You know, I'm not seeing really any loss on Lotus for them, and it's pretty dominant. I think the closest, most notable was the 13-11, which was their one map that they also won when they lost that best of three in playoffs for Division 2. So it's kind of like a way for them to start off correctly where they left off, right? I think, but let's go ahead then and jump into our agent select for this ever important Lotus, and we'll get to see if they're running the same that they ran in playoffs prior.
Looking at it right now, right? We got the Waterloo Warriors giving us a look at the double controller meta of old, but fill it in with the double initiator and get rid of a sentinel. Meanwhile, on the flip side, Tamu White seeking to uphold superiority with an almost similar composition, but yeah, you're going to make sure to have the Vice in there. a raise for defaulting the default agent, duelist agent.
Yeah. I feel like Tamu White's like definitely running that. Okay, this is your go-to now for Lotus, versus this is such an attack-sided composition which favors Warriors Gold, because guess what? They're starting out on the attack. I mean, what did we just see in VCT America's EG run a very similar composition? You don't have to worry about the defense without a Sentinel. So jumping into the pistol round, let's kick things off for Division 2 Nationals with some aggression over towards Mound.
I already like this too, right? From Texas A&M White, they just push out, try to play for that control, and they even have the ultimate orb if they want to gain that. Seeing all of the players, seeing all the utility being pumped in that direction, an early call from Warriors Gold to just get out of there and rotate onto A. But now you don't have your Sentinel, right? So you're leaving your Omen on the flank to protect that flank.
Ooh.
When they look away for just a moment, they really need to be careful. The noise being made, footsteps behind them. Now to turn around and look back, Swashy double kill. The Quavius Pork to waltz on in and get rid of probably. Now Texas A&M White got a big probably on their mind.
Ooh.
Zigna, a double kill, but not only that, massive damage to the rest of the squad, but can Carrot alone by themselves make the damage happen to get rid of the rest of Warriors Gold?
I mean, it'll definitely take some heroics, but I mean, look, every single player on Warriors Gold is low HP, like knocking on death's door. And they're playing a little bit divided here. I mean, Swash is going to get the information. Carrot, please clear the corner, but it looks like they're even going to bait so you don't clear it out. So it's
Yikes.
Swashy with a 3-piece to secure the pistol for Warriors Gold. And Sam, I think what went wrong there was, again, the positioning from Tamu White, I think was great. I really liked the 3-person flank there, but they didn't invest any utility into that A-side fight, right? I think the only piece of utility I saw was a flash from DeQuavius Pork, actually, after they realized that flank that was coming. You talked about it. No Sentinel, they need to have that spatial awareness, and that's exactly what they did. They flip it. They knew, okay, there were Razor Vines on A, your Vice is there. Let's go to the safe side C and just knock it out of the park.
Exactly. Going in without that dearth of utility on your side for what is going to be a massive push, or at the very least playing better off the timings where you know that they're going to be slightly weaker and less clumped up together, could have worked out a little bit better for them there. But regardless, it's still Warriors Gold up 1 from the pistol round. Now eking across the rest of the side, but they don't realize it's just how empty this C site is. There's no one here, no Vice utility, nothing. You can walk onto it for free, but Singular Smoke's going to stonewall them enough. Hopefully the stealth drone will give them enough of that information to figure out, hey, all right, let's go ahead and make the fast push. Zigna might be in for a world of hurt here. And yeah, just rotate back around the wall, and Swashy's going to get rid of them. Now back over onto the other side. Bring your weapon out real quick. Take care of another player. Wipe the floor with them, and Warriors Gold. Yeah, that C-side is theirs.
Yeah, the trade attempt felt like it came a little bit late. I liked the early, slow, methodical approach from Warriors Gold. Just making sure there's no pop eco-aggressive play out of Texas A&M, and it never came. So you mentioned that C-site being deserted. They quickly occupied that space with very little utility invested, right, beyond that site, Omen Smoke. And now they've deeply inserted DeQuavius Pork here. We'll see if they can get a devious thrifty 3-piece here. But it looks like Texas A&M White maybe is already committed to dying to the spike here. But how deep are you going to go?
Yikes. Okay. All right, DeQuavius, they really want to make sure. They try to whip out the classic for 1 under probably, but what happened here today, they've lost a weapon, but won the round. Warriors Gold. Let's move up into another one, probably dying to the spine, right? Not any exit frags or anything like that. No, looking to get a bonus round taken away from the Warriors Gold.
And I mean, you still have 3 players surviving, so I think that's a really fair trade-off with this composition, right? Like, look, you are 1 now off from the dimensional drift. Like, don't get me wrong, this composition has some information from that stealth drone, but it's nothing like a Fade or, you know, even the underrated pick of a Sova on Lotus. So that's definitely gonna help supplement it. You may even see it get invested here with the Bucky buy, right, to convert a bonus round. So that's what I'm really hoping to see here. You know, farm the Orb C, open up the map for your team. But I'm starting to see another C mound fight brewing from Texas A&M White, but this time they have the better weapons.
Yeah, they have the better weapons. Oh, and probably heard the DP of an Omen on the other side. That's going to be slowed down by the fault line, and then caught inside of the guided salvo is manipulating probably all around Mound, but no one here to actually fight them out for it. Justin's going to sneak their way over towards Rubble with the Outlaw in hand, and DeQuavius Pork, right? It's just that Bucky and a classic, so you really got to make sure you're playing off the timings from this Viper Wall appropriately, or your own flashbangs. Try and take your fights better. But that Dimensional Drift, you finally got it. Uncontested. And now a lot of chaos and havoc can be wreaked by this Yoru whenever they decide to use it.
Yeah, but I like how it almost felt like a fake out, right? Like all you saw was that Yoru clone, and now the dimensional drift as well. It feels like Texas A&M White's gonna call their bluff, and now I mean you get the support utility, the Teho, the Breach. You're pretty sure this is gonna be a solid state A execute, but what's concerning is that this is gonna be a 5-on-5 retake here.
And you had to have heard that shotgun, right? The Arc Rose getting blasted into Kingdom Come by it. Over on the other side, here's a special delivery. You're trying to slow down Dequavius as much as possible, but Tamu's stonewalled. They know that the Yoru's here with the shotgun, and they really don't want to sacrifice any lines. Meanwhile, Spike ticking away at their feet, probably makes the first step, first move. Lands a headshot here, and again, we're seeing the tepidness towards taking that fight. Carrot finally makes their approach known. Justin, the last remaining player standing, and only one can fall through that outlaw. Unless it's going to be a headshot. Winter's going to make sure that doesn't happen. And a nice retake here from Texas A&M White that ends flawlessly.
Wow, I mean, the setup, the execution from Warriors Gold and actually taking the site was really, really clean, but Texas A&M White, it felt like it was almost purple, right? Like they kind of knowing up that space, you know, we saw them peek for the info spray through the screen, and then once it dissipates, they got it a dodge. They played the retake, and I think that was really smart because then you weren't worrying about, like you mentioned, the Bucky. They flushed it out with utility. You weren't worrying about, you know, the ones that could have been won by these eco weapons. It was like the first coordinated thing I'd really seen from this squad, so it gets them their first round. But this is where things are gonna get a little interesting. Probably 2 off from their ult. Swashy meeting them at the same, you know, ult score line here, so we could see those come in impact. And you see this little trio as well, I think, scaling a main just to get that orb collected. And you're probably gonna see, I'm guessing, once they clear Mound, maybe funnel that as well towards Swashy here. Oh. Let's see if it has a late round impact.
We'll find out. All right, Thorns, both of them used by Carrot. Dequavius, my word! Barely escaping with a smidge of health. 8 HP is all they have left, and a gate crash they need to use to make sure no stray bullet is going to send them into another dimension. Probably. Advanced position, though. Right, they're playing off contact with their breach. Here's the stealth drone, not suppressing anything. Can really use that to massive advantage. Guided salvo on top of that. A lot of different utility being dumped at this A site. And while no one from Warriors Gold has fallen, look at those health bars, Zobi. This is not good times for them.
Yeah, this is like the perfect antithesis for Texas A&M Maroon from the last round, where they gave up all this space to fighting it tooth and nail, probably hunting for the ace. It's denied, but they got their trio, their partners, Winter and Pico, to finish the job. So we are tied 2-2. If you thought it was going to go one-sided towards Warriors Gold, you are sorely mistaken. So looks like Warriors Gold are going to have to stop underestimating this squad here a little bit. The buy broken, Swashy trilled, you know, fronting the bill here a little bit for these phantoms, these vandals. Get to see if it can prop them up, maybe, you know, support a thrifty attempt here. I mean, again, it's so like you're chomping at the bit when you're 1 off from the Rolling Thunder. Like, wait a minute, we can use this ult to convert the round, and that feels like it has to be the prerequisite for them to win it.
It really does. Texas A&M White's gonna do your standard util dump on A to try and fight for that control, but instead it's all starting on C, where Warriors Gold, right, they like to poke and prod at this, but the dearth of Vice utility is enough to slow them down a majority of the time. They see paranoias, smokes are gonna come up, but they're still making their way onto the actual site itself. Finally, the Rolling Thunder is gonna come through, blinded by the Arc Rose. They swarm onto the C site, but Texas A&M White has shown what they can do on the retake.
Yeah, that A1 was fluid, and now they have a showstopper to add on top of it. It's gonna go careening through the site and not land on a singular soul. There were some shots, you know, rogue that land on the breach. The Viper for Warriors Gold here. Let's see what this coordination looks like, or the aggression from Dequavius Pork.
Okay, that may have been a little overzealous there from Dequavius, costing them their life for that one, but here it is. We're fighting back and forth. Guided salvo to try and slow things down. P dipping into the smoke, gets rid of their mid. Oh my word! What are you gonna do with a Spectre like that, P? That Omen may have just single-handedly turned the tides against Texas A&M White.
Yeah, very, very impressive. I was kind of like questioning, like, okay, this composition, you know, it has so much utility potential, right, to stall in the post plant. And Warriors Gold just weren't playing it like that. 1 round accredited to maybe bonus weapons. This round, I mean, I was gonna say maybe accredited to a Thrifty, but the fact that they get aggressive, right? Not just Aquavius Port, but P doubles down and also fights Water forward. And clearly, Texas A&M White wasn't prepared for it. And maybe also felt a little bit rushed on that retake. You know, the showstopper not quite really invested impactfully. But aside from that, gonna give Warriors gold right back into the driver's seat. Give them the economy they need, hopefully to start adding up these rounds, this lead. But Texas A&M White, they got one more bye under their sleeve as well. And this time they're not gonna let the C-site go without a fight.
No, they're not. They're actually going to be on here. They know that there's really no utility to push them off either, or any crazy ultimates like the Rolling Thunder or even an Armageddon. Playing over on the backside, the Arcros gathering information that players are still at this site and still need to be wary.
Ooh.
Pushed upon. Look at the gap inside of the smoke. Yeah, Zignal can really play this to their advantage. Justin, well aware of the possibility where players could be set up, and doesn't matter how aware you are, unless you can land your shots, probably gonna prove that that's painful. That's where DeQuavius Pork's also gonna prove that theory. It's very much a true case. Carrots are eliminated. Now with one vice left to go, Zignal's gonna try and paranoia, but DeQuavius gate crashing in. This seaside has fallen.
Yeah, I mean, that was just a beautiful scaling from Warriors Gold, right? They discommit from, you know, that attempt to refrag over on A. They accelerate in the C side from that nasty shot through the smoke onto Carrot. And you mentioned some nasty ultimates to take a site. Well, guess what? It's for the retake.
And then they just push on. Swashy! Hanging on by the thread of health, but that thread is enough to cut through even the sternest of players. They're running out of time, right? They need to get the spike planted. They're running out of the opportunity to do that. Listen, 7 seconds to make that happen here. Over on the other side, there's barely any HP. They gotta know they're hiding in this corner. Swashy!
Do they?
I don't, they know now, right? NSP by themselves.
They have their ult.
Yeah, they have their ult. 33 HP too. If they can just get rid of this breach. Oh, they saw the shoulder. Flick back over to the other side. Reload your weapon. Play from the pillar. Get the headshots, all you need. But P needed less to do that. Just a body shot. Warriors Gold advances even further into their attack half.
Yeah, I mean, if you thought this man needed a headshot, go watch the Spectre round, am I right?
Yeah, right.
Like, that's how you lead 4-2 there. And I feel like what we've seen from Warriors Gold right after those 2 rounds, one from Tammy White, is that they were like, wait a minute, when we dilly-dally, when we default, when we mess around, we get, you know, pinged down. Justin, DeQuavius Pork, remember they were 1 HP when they finally went for an exec towards the site, and as a result, they didn't have the HP to win out in the late round. So instead, they're simplifying things a little bit, you know? Even when, you know, a player gets punished like Justin on alert, they recognize, okay, we have bigger fish to fry, let's get control over a site. And speaking of bigger fish to fry, it looks like they're going back to the C mountain control. The trio has rolled up towards a different part of the map, and fortunately, half your trap has fallen apart, and so has your hold on the B site.
Yeah, the vice wall is still there, but they found out where the vice is. Oh, pull them out and try to take their fight against it. But Carrot wasn't stalled out long enough. DeQuavius Pork is going to feel the full fury of that. Speaking of fury, probably is trading out their fallen comrade. P is stepping into the shadows with Spike onto a C site where no one is occupying anything, with Justin lurking all the way back through over towards B, but probably still gonna get rid of them. Now it's down to the 3v2 for the Spike defuse.
Yeah, I mean, the information management decision-making is immaculate, right? You know the sheer wall on B from that dimensional drift, so from the shadows onto the C site. Difficult to hear, though, as you mentioned it. They were trying to get that vice away out of the problem, but they already let the old rip, but it doesn't matter.
Whoa.
Bro, rifle classic. All right, Trill.
Yeah, here's what I'm learning about Warriors Gold. Spectre Classic rifles, question mark, don't really need them. They're just suggestions at this point.
I mean,
Zoe.
Stinger for Swashy, like, they can do every weapon and they're good to go. DeQuavius Bucky. We're like assigning a specialty weapon to each of them at this point. Justin, I think, is the outlaw. We just haven't gotten to see it in full swing just yet, but I'm sure it's a tale to come later. But speaking of specialty weapons, we're gonna have to see that prowess out of Texas A&M White this round. Full sheriffs, you know, complement with the Bucky and that Stinger. So we'll have to see what it can do. I'm looking and seeing a repeat of the pistol. Let's see if they learn their lesson to invest some utility on this A pinch, this A fight. I mean, your Vice is doing a good job trying to delay here, but how long can they hold on when the Armageddon is about to get procced?
This is smart, though, from characters to go ahead and get out of here. They know that the Armageddon is somewhere nearby. They've even thrown in the Arc Rose as extra measure for Flash if anyone pushes even further than that. But, oh my gosh, P, when they make their swing, it is for the fences, probably losing their head. You still got to recognize that there's more players on the back foot, surely. Warriors Gold realizing this, and they absolutely do, right? They look behind them for a second, but all players inside a revolving door, not going to care too much about the flank. You need to make your move. The approach is happening. Quaviasport blinded, but they go back in, try to double dip with the Outlaw. Zigna putting in a masterclass showing again with the classic. This weapon so deadly. Pico deadly as well with the Stinger.
Hey, I'm asking, they are delivering, but still, the weapon differential starting to show here, even with the 3-on-3. The heroics off of that Stinger did grant the Armageddon for Tamu White, and there's zero hesitation to invest it, but when you utilize both of them, there's no safe place to stand except for that slim space on site, and that's exactly what Warriors Gold is going to occupy. So when you're confident that they're not there, they strike exactly when they need to for the 6th round on their attack half.
Yeah, that was poised to perfection. There wasn't really much that you could have done. Once Zigna had fallen, the rest of the pieces of the puzzle were starting to fall in place for Warriors Gold. And Texas A&M White Light, right, they know that there's no Sentinel for Warriors, so they're abusing that now twice in this map to try and go for the flank play. But Warriors Gold, it's either outfrag them or outpace them. Just get further into the site and force them to come to you, where, again, you have the weapon advantage and you counter ultimate for ultimate.
And yeah, even on top of that, the mid-round calling, like I mentioned, been on point. As soon as they recognize where they are, they speed up elsewhere, and that's exactly what's happening this round. Justin, right? You've been toying with this balance, knowing when to fight, knowing when to leave. And this time it looks like they want to take the dive. They want to challenge off the vulnerability of their toxic screen, but there's 2 players there. The rest of the team, like we mentioned, going to be accelerating here on the C side, trying to break down these Vice defenses one at a time. And looks like Carrot learns their lesson, as well as Omen at their side. Zignal, they're trying to play a little bit deeper off, try to play connected here so they don't get pieced off one after another and the C side falling as a result.
Yeah, you're going to need to play for some moves like that. Trying to fire through the smoke. Zignal survives. And I saw ideations of wanting to use the Rolling Thunder, but now they finally do. DeQuavius gets caught inside of it, though. So the Yoru can only really go so far. It's enough to slow things down, but Carrot's going to take someone else along for the ride. Warriors Gold may get the spike planted, but a Viper's pit is up. And that may be just good enough that Texas A&M White has to fight into for the spike defuse.
Oh, Trill gets pinged, but they're playing the front man here, and it almost works out, but the numbers are dwindling. DeQuaviasport was on the flank. They know now that the Viper's alone, and the spray transfer doesn't connect. The trust as well that your teammate could finish off the solo Yoru intact, and Texas A&M White, despite the 2 big-ticket ultimates invested by Warriors Gold, they walk away with the round. Fend Warriors Gold off of a guaranteed round advantage at the half for the time being. So now they have weapons, they have ults. It's another kind of pitter-patter round where Warriors Gold is on the crevice of losing their bye before the half is up. So that was a great plan, poor execution, right, from Warriors Gold. Unfortunate, right? I think DeQuaviasport could have been nasty there if they didn't get, you know, self-concussed by Swashi. So that'll be something to VOD review later, but now you got to move on. You got to figure out, okay, how do we not only take a side against these ults, but ensure that they can't retake against us with them.
And the big thing here too, right, is, yeah, Texas A&M White has all of these ultimates, a massive amount of them. That stealth drone going in. You're going to try and use the fault line, Justin. Oh my gosh, probably. You did it once before. Now you're going to throw it in over the other side. And down goes Justin. Big win there, taking away the Viper. That removes a lot of the pressure off the A site from the wall, and gives probably in Pico great sight lines into taking even more fights against what's left of Warriors Gold. We're seeing that already happening here at the Archways, right? Probably really wants to take these fights. Quaviasport just tried peeks over on the top. Thankfully, Trill has the trade, but the numbers advantage still favoring Tamu White.
I was nervous. The paranoia really didn't connect, but they get the job done regardless. So
Swashy, though.
I was gonna say Texas A&M have the player advantage, but Warriors Gold with the position advantage right now. But I feel like even not knowing Swashi is here, unless Winter outpaces it, they know they're headed B, right? They hear the players that were rotating through Pillar, and they can retaliate accordingly.
Yeah, that's brilliant right there. Swashi survives through the Rolling Thunder, so when they swing out of the smoke, can take their 1, but Zignal's double kill is going to go ahead and put the nail in the coffin for this Warriors Gold round. Give Texas A&M White a 4th round in the half.
All right, keeping things close, and I kind of mentioned with this composition, I haven't gotten to see it truly shine on the defense, and I was like, you need a pretty dominant victory, you know, 8-4 to double digits is a great place to be at, and Warriors Gold is starting to let that prospect slip after what looked like a dominant 4-round streak, so what else to save you than the Stinger squad? Swashy, not getting the memo, has to pick up the Sheriff. Oh, maybe? No? Oh, okay. They're playing with our heartstrings, but let's see what happens when they're gonna clash here with a Teo stun combo.
Oh my goodness, there's no way you only grab one. Even with all of that utility being used too, Zobi. And now look at that. Warriors Gold just
Insane.
gets 2 free weapons.
I mean, got low HP here, at least a tad if you're Trill, but I think that's definitely a worthy trade out. I mean, you know the breach is on B. You still question marks of where the Vice and the Rays are because you didn't get deep enough into B main to know if the sheer wall was there, but you might assume since there was a heavy presence that they didn't place it there. So A is the call. Maybe expecting the Vice on C. And the Rays, clearly the unaccounted variable.
Yeah, but these are weapons that can still be grabbed over and over again.
Ouch.
Travis tries to go into the air, look over in the direction. Oh my God, probably. Clean flicks back over from head to head. Texas A&M White on a round that was quickly getting out of hand reaffirms their grip.
Yeah, when they need a player to step up on the Texas A&M White, it is probably 15-7 right now. I think this is going to be their third showstopper of the half if they can get an orb and maybe a kill this round. But, I mean, we all already saw their prowess on just holding a main early into the half. But that was a clean sight hold, looking like a sentinel. I mean, one target to the next here. Looks nice, and it looks like Warriors Gold when all else fails, they head towards the C site. Dimensional Drift gonna, again, spot out to see if the Vice utilities beat. So this is all just for information to help facilitate the C take. Or maybe deviate from the original path. So if Duquavis Pork, the stun lands on them again, but a judge isn't deterred. No having to ADS, no having to worry about full reverse bullet accuracy. It's just done, dusted, and the C site secured.
Yeah, I like that too, right? The call out inside of the Dimensional Drift. Fault line here. Guided salvo there. Nowhere can this Vice go, and then once they fall, the wall isn't a problem that they need to deal with any further. But now it's time for the retake from Texas A&M White. The Vipers snake bite gonna slow them down, but now you're not watching your back at Waterfall. There's no smokes here. Swashy firing blindly into the smokes, gonna make sure that Texas A&M White's gonna go no further from here. You got the ultimates, may as well use them. Probably slowed down by the Armageddon, blinded by a flash, seen by the Into the Shadows. No classic shenanigans this time to Quavius, but Swashy is making sure that the hijinks are in favor for Warriors Gold. Pulls ahead in the half, 7-5.
And that is like the bare minimum you could have hoped for, right? I mentioned it, this composition so attack-sided along with the map, so it'll be interesting to see how they hold up or how they adjust on the defense here, especially against Texas A&M White. This composition is kind of the go-to new meta for Lotus for a reason. It's good on both sides, right? Flexibility, the Vice, the delay there with the breach, and then obviously you flip that and you get the initiation of the Tejo breach to set up your raise. And when you have probably at the helm as well, I feel like this could be an explosive half for them. So looks like now they have set their sights towards C, you know, maybe identifying, okay, no Sentinel, easy work.
Yeah, no Sentinel, easy work. It's just Justin. I gotta imagine this Viper, Poison Orb, Snake Bite perhaps, but yeah, you open up the door, you put out the fault line, you get them inside the guided salvo. Justin, we were questioning what they can do on the C side. Well, that is an answer signed, sealed, and delivered in Destructive Force. Then they even have to go back and grab the spike. There's only 2 players left for Texas A&M, and Justin is a destructive force of nature. Warriors Gold, a second pistol round. This one, flawless.
Hey, I said Texas A&M White was going to underestimate the C-side because there wasn't a Sentinel, but I guess they learned their lesson. What happens when you do disregard the pseudo-Sentinel, Justin, you know? I mean, they've now over doubled their kills, and don't get me wrong, they were having impact. I talked about how important the information has been, both from Justin's lurk and from Duavius Pork on the attack to guide the late round calls. And I mean, now that they're on the defense, they're like, this is my half, this is my moment to shine. It's, you know, live or die by the seaside, and they chose to live and excel. Warriors Gold. That pistol is huge, and they're looking to snowball off of it. Duavius Pork, aggressive with the outlaw.
Oof. Problem is, right, they gotta get out of the dodge. Gate crash away from the guided salvo. A lot of utility being dumped in to try and remove them.
Ooh.
Quavius misses both shots with the Outlaw and even takes some of their
at
efforts.
this.
But then you jump over on the other side of that Viper wall and you're only going to be asking for trouble. Good discipline from Warriors Gold to not push out from the Viper's wall either. Hold on to the weapons. Kind of learning the lesson that Tamu White learned in blood.
Speaking of learning lessons, Tamu White, if you're not used to playing against a Viper on Lotus, you gotta learn the timings of when to accelerate on A, when to hold, because that Viper wall is deadly, as they just found out the hard way, losing their Taeho. Carrot now didn't grab the B side either, so now their split attempt is failing, and everything else, as a result, is
2 HP?
falling around them.
Oh my gosh, that's 2 HP in a dream right there. Really making sure to keep your breach safe and alive. Look at that, Quavius was even going to be a natural born barrier to the bullets. Warriors Gold gets through the anti-eco. A little bloody, but losing only one, that's not too bad.
And I'm honestly, Trill, force up a Vandal, Phantom. Like I mentioned, this half is going to be rough. Yeah, there we go. Take your rounds where you can win them. And we've seen them with some really clean, thrifties and pseudo-thrifties. So it's not out of the realm of possibility. Got to track and trap the opponents. Whether it's a singular player like Justin doing that, or a very effective collaboration over towards A, where you see an Outlaw, you bait them into it, and then suddenly it's like everybody comes out of the darkness. And, ooh, this is another strat to Quavius. The gate crashed out once again. Stun. Fall line burned early as a result, but let's get out to C nonetheless. The Viper was switched over to A this round.
And you're just leaving DeQuavius right here with the Outlaw. They see all of the players that are still lurking on Mound. You can tell, too, that they're waiting for the right moment to put up the smoke from P. But still, Tamu White respecting the ideology of what Warriors Gold can do without the most powerful weapons in their hands. A lot of noise trying to be made to draw rotates away from the C site, but DeQuavius is not having any of that.
Yeah. This feels like them just waiting on regeneration of utility before the exec, right? You talked about the salvos utilized early just to clear out DeQuavius.
No way.
This is gonna be deadly! That's an insane shot. That's your duelist gone, your star player. And once again, everything is starting to crumble. You lost your duelist, you lost your lurk that would have been the backdoor option. So now we mentioned, okay, if we did get the kill from probably B main, if we did get the kill from Carrot over towards A, they would have had a know of where to go. Now they have nowhere. They have no time. There's 20 seconds left, and Spike is just now getting to the A site. And guess who's also there? The majority of Warriors Gold.
Yeah, Winter was by themselves too. That could have gone sideways so very quickly. This is not going to be easy for them to fight back against. You're making a lot of noise just trying to get onto the site. Now you're being slowed down by literally everything. The snake bite, perfect. Justin, next level. Warriors Gold. Flawless.
They just have such a good understanding of how to shut out, how to keep track of where every little player is on the Texas A&M White squad. They may have gotten away with it in their half of the playoffs bracket in Division 2, but Warriors Gold saying, now you're in our ballpark, and they've got to learn what it means or get sent to the doghouse. So double digits for Warriors Gold. Economy shattered. Again, I mentioned the possibility of a thrifty there. Well, now they've collected their bounty, the weapons, the trophies from Warriors Gold. Carry forward. We'll see now. The Sheriff's Stinger is... We've seen them do it as well, right, on the Texas A&M White side. And look, as a result, Warriors Gold don't have none of it. They're fighting forward.
Okay, we're getting flashes of what happened in the one round Tamu White did this, but going far better for Warriors Gold. You still have Trill all the way up here, and even with all these fancy new weapons, you're just lining up one after another into the Trill lone firing squad. Warriors Gold, only 2 more rounds to go for Lotus.
I mean, the big difference there, because you mentioned, right, Tamu White tried it. Is Tamu White tried it on Nico. Warriors Gold did it when they had the buy. I feel like that was such a good, just hard called anti-strat, right? They're like, it's Nico round. They're going to run it down B. So what did we do? We fight forward B main. And the utility combo was clean. The response from Tamu White, too slow. So the damage was done. 11 rounds on the board. DeQuavius Pork, operator in hand. I mean, this is how you strengthen a non-sentinel defense. But this round, I'm surprised we didn't see a Tamu White timeout. It is make or break. Bank will be bust. The piggy bank shattered open, and Warriors Gold will be on map point for their pick.
Okay, I'm loving the tepidity of not pushing that one way with DeQuavius on an operator. Tamu White's got to realize that, right? You see the Yoru saving up this much money to try and buy up towards something powerful, and they've been using nothing but an outlaw this entire time. Seen by the stealth drone, doesn't want to lose their opportunity to get out, and yeah, probably it's just the sacrificial lamb time and time again to the Dequavius sniper, whether it's an outlaw or an operator.
I mean, when you're just starting to lose your ones, lose your steam, it's difficult to climb back out. I mean, you mentioned it probably was having a good half, having really strong late round impact more than anything. So when they're getting first blooded like this, it's not good for the mental. It's not good for the attack half. And even Carrot, who was doing a good job, you know, they would always get their ones when anchoring the sites. You mentioned, again, the awareness to back out, play retake with their team too. Well, now when they're placed in that lurk central position, oh... it doesn't matter. I mean, that's flawless. That's a corner not cleared. That's the death blow.
Yeah. Like you said, it feels like Tamu White's just run out of steam.
It's my one!
Which is, right, that's a little scary for them to be thinking about. This also, though, not their map pick, so maybe they're hoping for better dreams across the rest of the map pool that we have still left to us. Maybe they're thinking that, okay, Lotus not going to go our way, but Pearl, better opportunities abound underwater. They're going to have to be, though. They're going to have to find their scene. They're going to have to find their will to fight again. Now we're looking down the barrel of a Warriors Gold Lotus victory.
Well, this is, you know, a better buy than the Sheriffs and the Singers, so see if the Guardians can protect Tamu White from an early departure on Lotus. Justin going with the early citizenal aggression, maybe trying to make it seem like there's more than just the Viper home, but it feels like they're trying to play retake here, and oof, Carrot has not won a lurk duel, I think, this entire half, and might just be for this entire map that that's the case. Probably. They finally get an opportunity to entry, and it's going pretty well.
Yeah, it's decent tide so far here for Tamu White. The problem is, the second you try to do anything, right, you're gonna have to stand your ground, do something. Oh my word, this smoke right up here, not even a chance to do anything. Finally, they're making some noise. Armageddon through down to the final two players left standing, gets the nice fancy new weapons. Draw may have been slowed down by the special delivery for a second, but once it disappears, the rest of Tamu White is gonna follow. Warriors Gold takes Lotus 13-5.
Ooh, and we kind of said, like, it was kind of a questionable pick from Warriors Gold because it was a strong map for both of these teams, but they clearly showed why it is at the top of their list in their wheelhouse to kick off this best of three for the upper bracket nationals run. So, I mean, what do we talk about? I mean, there's so much to highlight for what went right for this team. I mean, I think Trill was the biggest surprise for me. I mean, it's impressive when, like, your two support players are some among the top frags, right? I mean, Swashy had 5 first bloods.
So 5 first bloods, 19 kills, 15 assists. Zoe. That's crazy. And then you look over at P, 12 kills, also 15 assists. Yep. So this just leads credence to how well the Warriors Gold synchronizes their utility with each other to be able to gain maximum value for the whole of the team, where you didn't really feel that synergy between Tamu White and yeah, you see how this works for them, you see how it happens, and you see one of the reasons why Warriors Gold were able to make it so far into their playoffs run.
Well, I want to look at the positives, right? This is just the first map. It's the best of 3, and that wasn't even the pick for, you know, the side of Texas A&M White. We're headed to Pearl next, which there is a map victory under the belt, which was a 13-3 for the Warriors, but it was only played once. They don't have the reps in. And I will say one thing I did really like from the Tamu White squad was the creativity in some of their set plays, right? They do have ideas here, but we mentioned that when it comes down to the execution, you know, the communication may be a little bit too slow, the reactions a little bit delayed as well, so they don't get as clean of trades. They don't get to walk away with numbers advantage in a lot of these heavy team fight situations. So Pearl, that's a ballpark where you definitely have to, number 1, be winning those team fights. Number 2, on that attack, I really want to see your lurk players find kills. I mean, you leave like multiple players spread out through the map. So if you're not winning your ones, it's going to be a difficult time.
It is going to be a difficult time, but something that may be able to help them, Zobi, is one of our phenomenal sponsors, none other than, of course, Winzel's Farm Snack Sticks. Fuel your game with Winzel's Farm Snack Sticks. No mess, no distractions, just bold protein-packed flavor to keep you locked in. Whether you're grinding ranked or leading the squad, Winzel's keeps you powered up. Grab a stick, stay in the game, crush the competition. Winzel's Farm, fuel for gamers, flavor for champions. And with that, Zobi, we're going to go ahead and go to a short break, get things set up for Pearl, but don't go anywhere because when we come back, we may be seeing Warriors Gold taking their Week 1 Division 2 win over Tamu White, or we could be going to that map number 3 of Fracture. We'll be right back.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's so worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in here?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't put it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. Now just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
It's on the other side.
Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Yeah, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick.
Yeah.
Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Oh, wow.
Huh?
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No, come on, just reach. Just grab my hand. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is.
Oh.
Welcome back, everyone, to week 1 of Nationals for Division 2 NECC Valorant. My name is Sam Tonks. Joining me is Zobi. And Zobi, we just got a crazy Lotus map that went 13-5 in favor of Warriors Gold over Texas A&M White. Now we go into our second map, which is going to be Pearl, so a little bit out of the orthodox, out of the ordinary here, chosen by Tamu White. Hopefully a map that they can take. Otherwise, it's going to be that week 1 victory for the Warriors.
Yeah, I think my biggest concern was I mentioned Lotus was a strong map for the side of Tamu White as well, so I expected it to be just a little bit closer, but I'm not going to count them out just yet. I mentioned it. Not as many reps on Pearl for this side of the Warriors, and I mean, this is again one of the more played maps by the squad as well. It's kind of a mixed up bag kind of how the performance has been. You know, there's a 13-10 victory, but then there's like a 10-13 loss. So they definitely like lost and learned from it type vibe. So they picked into it first. So they have to have something planned here. And we kind of talked about how the differences in the compositions kind of spurred the development of the scoreline we saw. And we're going to be starting on the same sides here as well. So let's see if we get a similar story from the composition.
We'll go ahead and find out. Alrighty, we're getting some different looks out of the Waterloo Warriors. Yeah, all right. Double initiator. This time, though, backed up by a sentinel. Leaving out the double controller meta here. Texas A&M. I mean, this is pretty much your standard stock Pearl that we have going on. Just take out the duelist and exchange it for the neon.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I mean, I know you guys won map 1 pretty dominantly, the 13-5, but they usually run the Yoru for DeQuavius Pork. But I will say, DeQuavius, right, they put up the numbers, they were positive, right? We talked about the supports were kind of knocking it out of the park in his stead. So maybe he's like, I'm not feeling the Yoru, let's switch over to the neon. So I'm curious to see how this is gonna function, if it's the same kind of success story. But this is the composition that Tamu White has been running, you know, some subs along the way, but regardless, most of them are on their comfort roles here. I do want to see, we didn't get to see this obviously over on Lotus. Maybe if they get the ball rolling early on, a probably operator. But only time will tell. Jumping into the pistol round here. Maybe some fake aggression off the salvos and a deep nebula, but no real follow through. Haunt, uncloak that mystery real quick. And looks like they're just gonna slowly re-engage.
Let's back it off. Oh, stealth drone's gonna meet in the night. That's all it is. And DeQuavius has been denied their ability to run now, suppressed on that avenue, but still looking to push forward as far as they can. First Prowler goes in. Oh, Nebula is going to deny that vision. Warriors Gold. Been masterclasses at the rotation, Justin. And this time around, Warriors Gold, their lurk player deposited inside of Art is going to be the one to fall. This is A&M White's best chance at grabbing a pistol round.
Well, has to determine how the rebound's gonna go. I talked about having numbers and utilizing it. Well, they're doing a good job at that so far. Archie the Sentinel out, already pinged down. Fade. The split, though, it's gonna really develop on, and depend on, I should say, DeQuavius here and their ability as well to get through main, but it's Winter! Through the Nebula as it gets popped, finding some additional numbers, challenging the tether as well. Ooh,
well, this is
just dissipates.
Right, you just back away. You realize that's the second player here. Warriors Gold masterclasses. They're pulling out victory, cause of defeat.
One enemy remaining. Last player standing.
One similar territories. Flashbacks of Lotus, but no, you've got the utility out, Carrot, with 10 HP, Zobi. This couldn't have been any more of a nail-biter pistol round. But for Texas A&M White, it doesn't matter, because you won it.
I mean, for a pistol, there's a lot to break down there already, Sam. I mean, okay, the first kill from Trill, clean, right? Trigger discipline, you're 50 HP, you won't want to head on fight. But double dipping, going back for seconds, that's where things started to go sideways, right? Your team put in the work, I think it was P and DeQuavius, to clear backside together, to terraform the A site for a clean, flip after you lost numbers advantage early on, and it felt like it just tipped right back into the favor of that 1v1 where Carrot, I asked them to win out their 1v1s, and they win out in the best way possible. The clutch for the pistol round for Tamu White.
Here's Thorns too, right? Want to get your don't want to get your toes all shredded to pieces, so you're not gonna walk through that anytime soon. Warriors Gold still defaulting across the map, waiting for the Texas A&M White aggression that we saw from Lotus. This time, though, not being given that opportunity. Again, Winter, right? You're playing off the back of your tether. Then you see Dequavius slide over to the other side. That area is going to eat them alive. And now you've got even more information that players are still in mid using just that Prowler. And we're seeing, I think, a confidence shift in Texas A&M White. Where, yeah, they were kind of gassed out on Lotus, but now they're full up on the tank.
Here we go. Again, first blood favoring Tamu White. This time it's your duelist, so a little bit difficult to rebound like they did in the last round. Like little fake out, make it seem like your Vice is sticking around mid-plaza, but in reality you're about a death ball. 4 players strong, 3 main. The off-site approach here, I'm questioning if someone's gonna challenge, and Pico is the one to take that dive. You can't hand off a stinger.
30 seconds left.
Starting
They
to
even fall.
Oh my goodness gracious. Okay. All right. Again, the wanting to outpace Warriors Gold may have cost him a little bit there. Justin was insane if given the opportunities. Thankfully, though, Carrot's gonna return the favor. A 1v1 yet again. Harry's back over on the other side. Swashy's so low on the HP. Tries to fight back into it. Winter, judicious sightlines kept on that one angle. Texas A&M White skirts by the anti-eco, but the big question is, at what cost?
Yeah, it was a little rough. Swash, I mean, you knew they had the Ares, you know, the bullet spraying through Art, catching off one of your teammates. But I agree, the fact they take that many weapons away is really strong. Versus think back to Warriors Gold and how Lotus went and why maybe there was an opportunity once rifles were in hand for Texas A&M White to make it a little bit closer at the half was, again, the flawless rifle rounds that the Tamu got some money flowing. So here you can see there is no bonus, right? It's Sheriffs, it's the Outlaw, and I mean there's no light shields, regen shields target on the Warriors Gold side. So as long as nothing crazy shakes up here, it should go Warriors Gold way. But they have yet to really break up the B utility. And I think that's a difficulty here. Think about it. No Yoru, no clone, sheer wall, it becomes a threat here.
It really does, and you have to be so careful about these plays too. And even though probably can't get the one-shot kill with the Outlaw, it's still enough to deal a lot of damage. The problem though for probably is they need to land the Outlaw shots, and so far it's just been going all over the place. Even though it's been narrowly missing their targets, it's missing nonetheless.
All right. And Justin, we talked about how there was no True Life Sentinel. Well, this time there is. So with it comes a deeper lurk role. Not just for info, but for impact here. They have cleared out all of this A space. Nebula, more just a red herring. This Prowler, though, the proactivity is everything. And Justin, you're playing dangerous territory here, but the Thorns, the Razor Vines are perfect. Slice and dice, not just the player itself, but their coordination.
And wow, yeah, you take out 2 from this as well. Now Trill wants to go even further, wants to push the envelope as far as it can go. Well, you're just gonna wait for this. Wanter finally swinging in. It's fancy footwork there, but Swashy has the trade. Losing out on 1 player so far for Warriors Gold. Numbers advantage heavily favoring them. Carrot, none the wiser. Over on the other side, probably looked clean with that headshot, but it's only gonna be the one for that. Warriors Gold gets the bonus rounds denied.
There we go. First round on the board. A little bit of a flip script, you know, both of them recovered. You know, this probably gonna see Warriors Gold do the same, just like we saw from Tamu over on Lotus. It's more what happens beyond that point. And I will say, you know, Pearl, completely different monster compared to Lotus. And I mean, Tamu's been doing a good job, I think, keeping track of where Warriors Gold are going, but Warriors Gold, again, they have such strong late round calls that we just saw that in full swing, plus some heroics from Justin, and it created a beautiful round. So Tam is not careful. Warriors Gold could get more opportunities like that, but for now, let's see what happens when you death ball A off your Armageddon.
Oh my word, it's an ultimate fiesta right now. Dequavius had no idea where they wanted to go. Instead, it's going to be right into the guided salvo. Marked as you may be, Swashy still determined to get this spike planted down, but they're stuck. There's nowhere they can go. They've been tethered down into the ground. They really had to play off the back of their teammates to make sure they can get through this. Tamu White, though, slowly starting to swarm back onto the site. Swashy has to make a swing for the fences and hope for a home run. Instead, it's a strike. They're out. Now it's down to the final two players to try and salvage whatever they can from this round. With someone doggedly holding on to the defusal of the spike. Far too many numbers to deal with. Texas A&M White recovers cleanly.
Okay. Tamu White. A great shutout the Nightfall to counter the Armageddon. And we kind of saw exactly how they played Lotus, kind of their defense translated here. Again, really leaning into the retakes, really confidence. I just saw the same kind of strain that we saw from that flawless A retake. Yes, they didn't have weapons that time, and there were weapons this time for Warriors Gold, but it's that coordination that we got to see here. And Warriors Gold, they trade out the Armageddon, the Cosmic Divide, their own Nightfall. But without weapons, you gotta go mid, and look who's meeting you head on this time.
Oh yeah, Texas A&M White. Such a difference, but the suppression, they gotta get out of there, man. Don't body block each other. Okay, all right, Guided Salvo's not gonna grab anyone, but you've at least delayed the Jet from fighting back out inside of mid for just a smidge longer. And with Texas A&M White successfully accomplishing the minor bloodbath out through there, just gonna back away. Now an ultimate, a Nightfall to try and clear them through here. And a counter Steel Garden thrown in on top of that. Both sides really wanted to play their hands early.
Oh. And there it is, the Blaze Storm. Shredding this eco attempt from Warriors Gold. We're lucky to get the plant down considering all 5 of 10 are surrounding them, but P?
Wait, whoa, oh my god.
If they had reloaded there, it was done.
The take my breath away moment there, Zobi. That
I know, I needed a moment just to think about what happened, and I'm sure Tamu does too. I mean, you had 5 players there.
you had
P got like an aim-last moment. That's crazy. If they had more than one bullet, I'm surprised that one bullet killed number 1. And I mean, we talked about needing more coordination from Texas A&M White. Well, we got it. So there we go. They get the trade at least. But like, it wasn't like they weren't trying to trade each other out there. It was just one dome after one dome. But look at this. I asked for it and I shall receive. The probably operator can be a core part of this B defense, but you know, Late Storm for probably. It's the overdrive time for DeQuavius.
Yeah, that's a good relay bolt that saves them from all of this util. Finally, the Guided Salvo came in far too late for the tether to gain the kill they were looking for off the back of it. All right, you gotta watch out for P though, right? If we're looking at this insane player, the possibilities are going to be endless. Fortunately, Justin losing out on their lurk, Carrot shattering the mirror. Now finally Spike planted, but for Warriors Gold, right, you're dealing with the lighter buy. Maybe if you can get something here from Carrot, could go your direction. The numbers trying to go in their favor. Carrot isolating the ones perfectly. Needs to reload, try and swing in fast. Oh my god. Right, and then you look back over in this direction, Trill. It's admirable efforts here, buddy, but we all know that the spike's gonna be defused while you're being bombarded with firepower operators. At the very least, though, you get away with a vandal.
All right. Here we go. 5-1, a complete pace change from what we were expecting after Lotus, but we said it, this is their map pick for a reason. Warriors Gold truly haven't been tested on this map prior, and they even made a composition shift, right? We talked about this Neon coming in, and it feels like the Vice is a lot more bearing. It feels like the Neon's having a hard time breaking through here a little bit, even when they have the overdrive online. So, 5-1, I'm surprised we haven't had the timeout called here just yet, because at this point, you lose this rifle round, you're broke again, and Tamu has the guaranteed lead at the half.
Some fancy footwork.
What is this?
DeQuavius, you're really playing with fire, my friend. That's the kind of theatrics you want from your Neon, though, and they're not going to let this wall stop them. But a couple of bullets are definitely going to slow them down, and especially once the Astra utility's taken away, you really got to play safe, and you got to make sure you figure out where this operator is hiding. Instead, it's just going to be probably posted up in mid. Oh, there we are. DeQuavius beheading Winter. It's all done and dusted for them. Justin at this A site. Now I'm going to prod back over to here, but Texas A&M Whites learned their lesson. They're not going to leave this undefended.
Okay. Warriors Gold. I don't want to say they look different, but look how spread out they are, right? The Neon trying to rejoin the effort, say. You have a Fade lurking. Maybe the Initiator utility will draw somebody over if you lob a haunt through B. Or they could get the late flank potential we saw when they didn't have HP online. Cosmic Divide, here it comes. Your duelist trying to make that space, but you don't clear the corner from Signal?
30 seconds left.
Gets away with it for free, Zobi. Warriors
crazy.
Gold stopped by the efforts of one player. These Astras just built diff, I guess. The wall is still up. The Cosmic Divide is still there, so an opportunity still to plant the spike. But they just knew. They heard where it was being planted. Now Trill's just gonna have to play for the fight. They had to play for the kill. There's no more time. They gotta get rid of Pico. It's now or never. And Texas A&M White says never.
Wow. Heroics in the op gets recovered as the cherry on top, and
Timeout.
man, I said that was too late. You needed that last round. Unless you got a heck of an econ and strategy coming up, cooking in the kitchen. Let's see what the recipe looks like. They've been saving it, passing it down from generation to generation. But I mean, even if you come up with a really, really good strategy here, I mean, Seal Garden, Armageddon, Tamu has get it to jail free cards for anything you might throw their way. They want this 7th round. And there's no like compositional like or side favoring on Pearl. It's pretty clean when you look at the newer meta. And what else is there to break down? I mean, every player for Tamu's had their heroic moments. They're being coordinated. Warriors, on the other hand, I mentioned again usually how strong they are to like recognize, call around, and usually find an opening. They just haven't been able to do that here.
It felt like Texas A&M White was really trying to make sure they played the map metagame as cleanly as they could, right? The map pick ban. Being able to bring themselves into Pearl, a massive victory on their side. And we're starting to see some of that happening, right? With the massive gulf in rounds we're seeing between these two teams. Hopefully for Warriors Gold, using this timeout will give them the opportunity to get their heads back on straight, figure out what they need to do to punch through Texas A&M White's defenses. Yeah. But man, this tonal shift that's happening from this team, probably it's posted in mid. They've got the read.
Not ready yet.
Here we go. Finally, DeQuavius trying to get the entry, but again, this Neon is not equipped to handle a Vice, right? Razor Vines, sheer wall, you can't get past it, and now your team, they look lost without you. And now they're getting pinched. Look at how deep the players are from Tamu White up through A main. I mean, by the time that Vice wall is triggered, it won't matter, right?
Yeah, and Carrot's walking away with a 3K, happy as can be. Like you said, there it is, the flank. You've seen the wall trip. Well, you know, if you can hear all of the footsteps behind you. On the flip side, though, Texas A&M White really wants to make sure to get these final two players. They're going to leave both sides open. But it doesn't look like Warriors Gold is going to recognize that. Carrot, by the way, on track for the ace. It may be 3 HP, but they're right there. It was so close to. Swashy's going to eventually eliminate them. But still, the damage has been done, right? And now you've separated from each other? Oh, that's going to be so scary.
I mean, somehow you've gotten the spike planted. It's because of how deep Tamu committed into A main. Again, it requires individuality at this point, right? And fortunately, the side of Tamu White, they're starting to deliver, right? First found theirs, second found theirs, but it might not matter. You know where Swashy is. The Armageddon's gonna force your hand. The counter Armageddon. Deny the spike play, but there's a gap. You missed. You had one job.
Oh, Zoe. Oh no. Probably is like, oh yeah, look at the nice fireworks right next to me. That's pretty cool. Anyway, spike diffuse. That's gotta hurt.
Gosh.
That's gotta hurt, especially with how Swashy performed on Lotus. To make a and right, that was gonna be tough regardless, but it would have bought you time to take the one fight that may have ended in the win against Pico, and then you just go for the 1v1 against probably.
But that's the thing. Swashy wasn't on Tejo over on Lotus. It was Trill, right? And I think Swashy just is maybe not as accustomed to Tejo. They like their breach. They didn't want to play the info initiator. That's the fade. Like, that's Trill's job. And so maybe this is just an off map as well when it comes to agent composition matching for Warriors Gold. There's so many variables here at play that have led to this 7-1 scenario. I mean, again, every round where Big Ults have invested, Warriors Gold have not found their footing. But this is the round where the timeout should see its efforts come through. Right? The Eco round was close. You know, credit where credit is due. But this is where we've got to see some movement. It's still that mentality of Warriors Gold, even down 1-7. They want to control the tempo. Ooh, that's a nice bait out.
I like where this is going, right? Ooh, gotta get back. Gotta play away from this, probably. eyes focused on 2 different directions. All this crazy action happening inside of mid, but now here we go. Warriors Gold. It's all just about getting ahead of this. Oh my God, Trill. Oh my God. That got so much scarier than it should have been. But now the Nightfall is finally going to get used. You're only going to be slowed down for so long. 2 players in it for the fight of a lifetime. They're just going to play back. They're going to wait for the retake. But wait as they might. Probably is going to have to do a lot more of that operator to give Texas A&M White the fighting chance they need.
Alrighty. First time Warriors Gold have gotten the plant down with numbers advantage in a long time this half. This is where that operator becomes a lot more difficult to manage, right? Not the retake weapon special, to say the least here. Essentially a 2v4 unless the Warriors Gold make a slip up, and that's the last thing they're doing. Except they've given the first kill over. Zignal baited out of the Tejo missiles. Pico fights in the trades. Go the way of Tamu White, and now it's your Neon left. They don't have post-plant utility. There's a Cloudburst online. You have to get the shot or buy enough time, and they get the former done for a second round for Warriors Gold.
Oh my gosh, these 1v1s they're taking years off my life. I can only imagine what it's like to be a player on the lines right now. But that round cutting it really close. And you're also starting to see, too, though, that even with Warriors Gold winning that round, it's still not the most ideal economic situation for them. But the flip side can be said the same for Texas A&M White, who's been winning all of these rounds, and now the economy is broken.
Well, yeah, it definitely is very rocky around the edges. What are the odds of getting another 7-5 half here? I mean, if Tamu White can go on a run on Lotus, why can't Warriors Gold here and now? All it takes is that one, right? The boulder starts careening down the hill. I mean, they might have identified, wait a minute, Art's a weakness. And it usually takes time for a defense on Pearl to finally move the Vice utility to Art, right? So they can overwhelm Winter, which is a big if right now. They've also been really good at holding this space. Last time they weren't there, right? It was a displaced Vice away from their utility. But for now, they've also gotten really good at like dumping a lot of utility and quickly shifting, pivoting. But the difficulty this time is that somebody's there watching where you plan to pivot back to. Yeah. Probably with the op line.
Come on, you gotta be smart, right? P's done it so many times. You can't just leave this. Oh my God!
Yeah.
Yeah, probably. And now they get away. They're out of there. They've done their job. They're smiling from ear to ear. They're grinning. They got that neon, right? No more fancy sliding all over the place. I think Justin's even been seen too. Maybe not. The smoke did come up. It could make their swing. They are getting away with this all so much for free. Finally, it's going to be a special delivery on the backside. Winter's seen inside of Art, but now it's just back and forth. Justin's looking in, again, all of the different directions that they need to hold this down. Finally, smokes are going to come up, but you got to get the spike planted. Trill, that is a dicey position to be playing in, my friend. Now you're also going to be ready, Swashi, for the counter assault from Carrot on your own flank. Got to play off this steel garden.
Confident?
I thought that was going to be crazy with the classic again, but look who's here. Carrot coming out of the smoke. Gotta be ready for this. It's a 3v2.
Oh, and I think Zignal realizes, wait, I can't recover the operator. Trill has the operator.
If you didn't realize that before, you do now. That much is for sure. All right. You're trying, you're playing back and forth, back and forth, back and forth. You really, really wanting to get this operator. Trill, you did not make me witness that.
And this is the player that we highlighted for crazy plays over on Lotus. They deliver when Warriors arguably need it the most here again on the quest for the 7-5 half where things are quickly recoverable. You know, patch it up with a light pistol round. And we talked about it. That was the round that would break the bank for Texas A&M White, and now they're going to have to take out a loan in the future because the money's not there. But you know what is there? The Blade Storm. Probably. Last time utilized this quite well to deny the anti-eco from Warriors Gold, and it was complemented, yeah, with this mid-plaza take. So hopefully Warriors Gold recognize that same reoccurrence, you know, that repeat offense. I mean, surely Justin realizes it, and that's why they've gotten in a dodge. That's why the team is starting to rally behind them. They're about to fight shop here. Wait, this is so smart.
Oh my gosh. You gotta get out of there. When anything crazy happening, Justin's gonna make some crazy things happen, and then Nightfall thrown in for good measure. You wonder how many people we're seeing, but now Warriors Gold are really finding the traction they needed on the road. Texas A&M White's trying to do whatever they can to stall things out, play for picks or anything like that. Warriors Gold has got a recovery so late into the half. Phenomenal.
They are one round off from that 7-5 foretold. But this is where the interest starts to pay off. Texas A&M White will have that last round bye that they need. One off as well from Nightfall, you know. So we'll probably see that hopefully get invested this round. Peak, one off the Costa Divide. So there is a nice exec strategy here between DeQuavius and P if they once again want to take control of the tempo here on the attack half, which I think goes fairly well for them when they try to simplify things just a touch. So let's see. I mean, looks like they're going for the A split here pretty early on. Again, we mentioned kind of how weak the Arthold is, but again, please use your util to clear out the operator.
Yeah, DeQuavius is the util, Zobi, I think. They don't really care about that. I think that's why we're also seeing that fancy footwork. They're so confident that probably is not going to hit them. And I would say that confidence has been kind of rewarded too. Eventually you're going to back out, even though you know that the Prowler is going to catch someone there. You're not wanting to fall to any other pieces of utility from Texas A&M White. And Warriors Gold, this is smart, right? They aren't identifying where players are just yet. They're going to play and wait for the right moments. And maybe even some fancy call-outs from DeQuavius say, hey, here's the Vice utility, Thorns at the ground, a wall put up as well. And Kara's just playing off of timings now, but DeQuavius, they're going to have that idea. You see, oh man, that's going to be dicey. You're really determined to make this fight happen or just pull the wall up?
I think when to pull the wall, you want to keep the Vice anchored because your team is accelerating over towards the A side. But again, they have done nothing to get rid of this operator. It is never challenged except for P hitting these wondrous shots. Like, the probability of that is the probability of the princess finding the P in the mattress. And at this point, I mean, they were denied the ace clutch last time. 1v3 for that 7-5 half. We destined for them here.
Ooh.
Missiles miss. Is that a good sign?
I think it might be. You're getting a better idea of where they could be going, but P is playing for a crazy play right now. They put up their wall, right? And then they're going to try and dip back in for another one, but the P Masterclass Aim Lab showing, well, Carrot's going to put that out to pasture. And Texas A&M White pulling in a strong 8-4 first half.
Yes. They were given the 1v1, they miss it out, and it's that 8-4. Not unrecoverable here. And I mentioned, right, that Pearl is no, you know, it's no Lotus. It's no Haven, no attack-sided, like, strong copium. But I will say, I think, again, the big problem with that last half was from the composition. Neon really, really hard to challenge the Vice head-on, and they tried too many times, right, to do so. And so when they finally started, okay, getting a little squirmy, getting a little slithery, and depositing themselves into these off positions like art, it worked for them. So I do think things are gonna be a little bit easier here now when the Vice is simply, you know, your lurk player, your trap on the flank. So we'll see. Maybe they are gonna be a more defense-sided team. Let's see if we get a close match or if it's gonna be too one-sided and each team picks favor. But for now, much like how we started off the map, it's another pretty heavy A fight. But how far do Warriors Gold commit?
Yeah. Not too awfully far. They got a good bulwark set up so far, though. Nice shield that's protecting almost all avenues of this A site. The majority of players coming in this direction. Oof. Yeah, it's going to be a little tough to deal with. A tailwind to get them out of there and then just blast through the smoke. Swashy riddled with holes. There's still a Vice wall set up in mid that Trill could play off of. And Texas A&M White's going to take their dear sweet time with whatever decision they make, especially knowing they have the numbers advantage. But how quickly that can slip away from them.
Oh, and DeQuavius Park, I mentioned how far you were gonna go. Seems like you're taking it to the grave. Even if you get one, there's no hope for a second. But you pulled down P with you. P at least took one as well. And that was over towards Art, it seems like. This timing in sync. The reclear from the fade's good for now, but it's only temporary. Look at the reflank from your Vice player.
30 seconds left.
I mean, insert yourself in, but this is more heroics, and Zegnod's on top of it. It's all down to Justin. 1v4 for the pistol round.
A 1v4 for the pistol round, and it's a classic. That high-low, good luck. Texas A&M White, proving that Pearl is their territory. All who dare enter, beware.
Ooh. And I mean, it's so hard. I feel like Warriors Gold, we talked about the tendencies that have carried over, but a lot of the big win cons just haven't been there for this squad. And we're just getting started in the defense, so it's hard to pick them out now, especially when Tamu White's so close to the finish line. And they're disrespecting Warriors Gold with this buy. I mean, look, probably... I mean, I know you're on a heater on this jet, but the Phantom Light Shield can be dangerous when, you know, DeQuavius has a Sheriff, when these players are menaces, and therefore scaling down B main and trusting in the Vice. They'll know that wall's gonna get tripped art. They're gonna know they can speed up here, and if they find Carrot, I mean, at least they leave a ghost in hand, but...
Oof. Wait, does Carrot
no,
look
here
back
they
at the
go.
right time? Oh my gosh, they're still so close enough. The wall may have happened right there, but they gotta get out. They can't really stick around for way too long. B's gonna eliminate Carrot, but again, we're just talking about losing out on the ghost player. And now, because of all that has been seen on B site, Texas A&M White, it's just a full green light signal for A.
Spike planted.
Spike will go down as a result. The group that overwhelmed Carrot, that led this mass migration to the A site, been dealt with, and I mean, it's just a Vice for a Vice trade, right? A site for a site. Here we go. Maybe we're gonna see a ninja defuse here. I mean, look at this. How much utility does Texas A&M have in the bank? I mean, got the C's, got the salvos, but you're droning first. The reveal only gets one, so P could get away with this. The body blocking the salvos, though. It's gonna bite them as it gets to two. No way, not double digits like that.
What just happened, Zoe? What just... Whoa.
It's called you tried to outpace, or maybe you thought there weren't salvos online, so you go for the body block against the whirl, especially because you're like, wait a minute, P's so close to the defuse. We just stick it and win.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. I mean, I like the idea, right? But again, it's just all of that util dump. It's we live in the era of Tejo now, so you really got to be cognizant of every possibility. So, A&M White and anti-eco much better this time around. Warriors Gold. It's been rough goings for them on this defense. Yeah.
Okay. Oh, weapons versus weapons. Drone, not quite sure how many it saw there over towards A main, but it's enough for Texas A&M White to know they want nothing to do with it. Especially when they can try to deal with the solo Vice over towards B, but I will say this is a jet too, so I mean, you could updraft over the sheer wall, but you're still going to be taking these fights alone. So, see what happens. Razor Vines destroyed, that's the first layer of defense. I'll have your Astra for offsite support here, but here we go. I'm concerned with how slow the rotation is coming from Warriors here, actually.
Yeah, if Justin doesn't go very far without any support from anyone else, that could have gone bad, but DeQuavius Pork is going to be here, and not only that, Carrot's gone too, so Texas A&M White really got to be judicious on making sure that the flank is protected, and you're already seeing some eyes leaning in that direction, maybe even starting to call for the rotate. Probably is just at 29 HP, and they're the one in command of that massive power weapon with the Phantom, so any shot that's going to be taken, it has to be a headshot, or it has to be more than likely going to be ending in their death. Finally, though, all the util being dumped. We're talking about the craziness of the Stingers for this round. Pico's going insane. Gonna plant the spike for the post plant in a nice ideal position. Where Warriors Gold had the advantage, it has slipped away fast.
Eh. Now you have a disjointed retake. Haunt, you know, crosses off some sections of the map. The Stingers confirmed hulls as well, but you know, they have a partner in crime lurking in the shadows. Only time will tell. He as well. No stars left for the situation, and it's just heroics, and fortunately that won't get the job done. P, every player's so low HP. You've just lodged hopefully the Astra, but you second guessed yourself. They were pillar, and just like that, Texas A&M White get to 11.
Bonus round accomplished. Warriors Gold massively on the back foot now. We remember that timeout echoing all the way in the first half and how much that helped them there, but you're gonna have to really pull deep into the treasure chest, into the war bonds to be able to figure out what to do here to stop and deny Texas A&M White their Pearl victory and outpacing what you did to them on Lotus.
Here we go. I mean, this is eco or bust. It's the all-in 5 players mid plaza. I feel like I've seen this somewhere, maybe twice from Tamu White, and somehow it still works regardless of who's pulling out the strategy. Warriors Gold, first blood. That's the Astra.
Oh my
That's your
gosh.
post point gone.
Oh
That's
my
your
gosh.
smoke's gone. What is this timing? What is
Carrot?
this?
Just got lurked on massively. The ace right there. DeQuavius says, no thanks. But again, you're all by yourself at 1v3. You can't isolate the ones, but probably they don't care. They're going to take theirs, and Texas A&M White looking towards map 3.
And they're about to, if they finish this off here, which, I mean, the buy is a little bit stronger than the 13th possible round buy was for Tamu White over on Lotus. A more dominant showing than the 13-5 Warriors Gold achieved on Lotus. That would be a statement. I mean, look at this. I love Winter's awareness, right? Outlaw. So many light shields littered through this buy for Warriors Gold. Just placed it up towards shop as well. I'm expecting another half eco push towards Plaza. But, I mean, it feels like what Tamu White has done is just wait for Warriors Gold to make a response, and then they just break it down at the root. But sometimes, you know, the root grows back.
And it does. Okay. Trying to gain sight lines using this outlaw. DeQuavius. Not going to want to chance fade any more than they need to. Playing for more ideal positions. Oh my god. Winter. You're really testing my blood pressure right now, buddy. It's probably falters across the map as well. The slower pace is just not working out well for Texas A&M White. More than anything, their detriment, it feels like at this point. Swashy supports their Neon. Now it's down to all that's left. Nico, by themselves, alone. I would have lost my mind there a little bit if they had managed to get rid of P. But thankfully for Warriors Gold, they hold on for another round, denying Texas A&M White their victory.
Hey. And in the throes of any comeback story, right? There's that one turning point, Sam. And it is the ultimate round where hellfire is unleashed. And, I mean, minus a Cosmic Divide, Whoop-De-Doo, and Trill's Nightfall, every single ult has been brought to the potluck, and we are about to feast. But who will walk away more stuffed? Only time will tell. Warriors Gold needed to stay alive, and probably has just taken a big one of those ultimates off the board with their own Blade Storm.
Oh my gosh. Yeah. There goes the overdrive. Warriors Gold.
Get the ults.
Yeah, it's feast or famine, and right now Warriors Gold in the midst of a famine. Here's the Armageddon. Poor guy was blind. B couldn't see anything coming at them. Probably
What is
trying
this?
to right-click in through the smoke. Give me a break. Justin now down to the Steel Garden. They're fighting back with what they can, but Classic's barreling down at ya. Texas A&M White. Also a 13-5 victory, this time on Pearl.
Very, very poetic. And now that we're going to Fracture, I mean, it's just question marks ablaze. Like, I don't even see it anywhere really in the recent history for these squads. Like, that's gonna be an exciting map, but to break down Pearl, whew. I mean, first off, probably, and that Bladestorm conversion rate need to be studied. I feel like every round it was utilized, it was like, converted and they won the round. I mean, when it's 13-5, I mean, obviously it's pretty dominant and the odds of that being true are pretty good. But it was just utilized at like the best times to deny the ecos, you know, to prop up their own ecos when they were struggling or when we might have seen a turnaround out of the side of the Warriors. They just snuffed it right out. Like, they know their Pearl. What can I say?
Oh my, okay. Vices?
Oh, the Vices.
What is this? The war? The head-to-head? Yeah.
Wow.
It was a struggle for University of Waterloo Warriors Gold on this map of Pearl, where Tamu, yeah. Right, we talk about those stark differences that happened between these two teams. Lotus, Tamu looked lost. And it was just like, all right, let's go ahead and get Lotus done. go to our map of Pearl where we're going to dominate. And it was clear cut how well this went for them, and clear cut too when you look at the stats. And I'm sure going into the future, teams are going to look at this. If going up against Tamu White, yeah, make sure Pearl is banned. But it's like you said, question marks for Fracture. What's that going to look like? How's that going to go? Both of these teams, it's.
I mean, the last time I'm seeing they played it, like the roster was even different here for the side of the Warriors, and for their opposition. I mean, it was like all the way back at it was literally a month ago for the side of of Tamu White. So like these teams are fresh on this map. I mean, obviously we don't get to see all the scrim bucks. They like to keep that a secret, but they haven't played it in officials. I think my concern is that, to me, like, despite not being a 3-side map, it feels very Lotus-esque in terms of, like, controlled main aggression. So I'm hoping we'll see kind of the resurgence of Warriors to be maybe a little bit more up to the standard they performed to on Lotus. And then the confidence of Pearl for Tamu White will balance things out. And plus, they got the map pick between this and Ascent. So hopefully that also means they have something up their sleeve. And we'll actually get a competitive map 3.
Well, hopefully we will get that competitive map 3, because we're going to go to a short break, give our teams a break, give ourselves a break, give everyone a chance to go rehydrate, grab some snacks. Because this is a map 3 finale that you do not want to miss.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Hey, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
That's probably worth it.
What do you make of this up here? Just showed up in the yard a couple days ago.
Dog been digging in there?
I don't think so, dude. That goes way down in there. Seriously, did you just lose your meat stick?
Yeah.
Oh, no. There's something in there, dude. Just leave it.
Are you kidding me?
We'll just head to the house. Just leave it.
The hell with that.
Oh, yeah, there's something in there. Ah!
Want one?
Thank you.
It was worth it. What am I supposed to say?
It doesn't matter. He's dead. He ain't listening to you anyway.
I'm hungry.
No. Put it away. I can't watch it. Oh, crap. Just reach in. You gotta pull it. Just grab it. Just take it out of his hand. What do you mean you can't?
He won't let go.
What do you mean he won't let go? He's dead.
Help me. Get in there. No, just hold on.
Make him let go of it. No, I got you covered. Just go in for a hug. Go and get on in there. It's a bad loss. Yeah, hug him up. Just reach. Hug him up.
He's breathing.
On the other side. Go.
I can't.
Just-
I can't do it. Help!
Help me, Lord. Help me get over this loss.
I can't breathe.
Hey, I can't breathe. I'm so upset. I can't breathe. Stop. You knock on wood so they go to heaven. It's like a lucky. Hey, get the stick. Yeah. Hey, did you get the meat stick?
Yeah, I got it.
Hey, just hold tight for a second. They're moving the casket. Just hold tight.
Yeah, it's no worries. I got it.
Oh man, this is incredible.
Wow.
Huh?
Yeah, it's pretty cool.
It is pretty cool. Hey man, grab me a meat stick. I think I can reach it if I just a little more. Just let me go a little. I can't. Just a little more. I almost got it. Careful! Oh God! No. Come on, just reach. Reach. Just grab my hand. I can't hold. Grab my hand.
Give me the meat stick. This other hand's closer. The one with the stick is. Oh.
We got the head-to-head action going on here for week 1 of Nationals in Valorant Division 2 NECC. My name is Sam Tonks. Joining me for the final map is going to be Zobi. Texas A&M White is taking on University of Waterloo Warriors Gold. Both of these teams taking each of their respective map picks. Now it ends all on Fracture.
Yeah, I mean, we kind of had history for the first 2 maps, even if our kind of consensus about what would happen on Lotus was quite wrong. But Fracture is just a big old question mark. I mean, both these teams like played it like a month over ago. One of them was with a half of a different roster. So I mean, there's a world where we get a DeQuavius arena for this map, for crying out loud. Like, there is so much going on here that, like, it's great that it's a best of 3, and it's great that it's an upper finals, right? Like, or sorry, an upper like quarterfinals, right? If things go wrong, you still got redemption in the lowers.
Exactly. It's okay. You still have that opportunity, you still have that chance, like you said. But yeah, Fracture, it's gonna be so much fun to watch. I think we've settled into a nice, comfortable meta for how this map is played. Listen, if you were hoping that we weren't going to see Tejo, I've got bad news for you. Fracture is like the Tejo map.
Yeah.
Combo that with the Breach, and I think we may be getting some of those flavors of Lotus for the Warriors on Fracture, where we get probably Swashy back on the Breach. You get everybody back on their respective roles. Maybe this time, though, instead of playing with the Viper, we'll have a Vice, possibly. Also could look eyes towards the KJ as well, for just that little, for the battle of whichever Sentinel you want, right? Vice, KJ, Cypher. And again, we look over on the other side at how Tamu White could possibly be playing this. Again, I'm looking back towards Lotus, where we just substitute the Vice for the KJ or the Cypher.
I mean, that's kind of what we're expecting. Like I said, there is some question marks, like I said, between what I've seen from the Warrior squad. But maybe that was why they were still trying to find their identity on this map, and before the new meta as well. Now, we mentioned those roles, mainly Trill and mainly Swashies. They're back on their go-tos. I am excited to see Signal and PE, right? They've like leveraged like the full spectrum of controllers. But I don't know how I feel about the DeQuavius Neon after Pearl. I'm not gonna lie to you. Fortunately, it's against a Cypher, not a Vice, so a little bit easier to manage, but not by much. But do you see what I see? I see a million pings from Warriors Gold over towards Arcade. Like, they have to be pushing the theoretical limit of Valorant and what it lets them do there. But I think they're going Arcade. What do you think?
I think they might be going Arcade, or they're just looking at Arcade, while Texas A&M White's like, yeah, that's fine. You know what? We're gonna go A. No one here, not a single soul. Warriors Gold don't gamble, right? That was not the right call.
It's fine if you just push through, right? Just keep going. And they haven't, right? So they didn't breach the utility. The cam, late, confirms there's a lot here, so you just speed up on A confidently here as well. I mean, Silver Lining, as you say, you can play retake here, but Carrot, they almost got a insane, you know, moment. And instead it's just, what a flash.
Yeah, what a flash. Got every single player. What a pinch, by the way. This is where Winter has to don the cape and go for the maximum amount of heroics they possibly can. But Trill is the villain of the hour. Warriors Gold. Rewriting how Fracture is supposed to go.
Well, if I had any concern about the confidence from Warriors Gold coming into this after the loss on Pearl, it has been completely rectified. That was nice, to say the least. Even after we mentioned maybe a little bit of a stumble, you know, gambling towards the wrong site, the side bet clearly paid out. They're able to get back to the A site quite effectively in pinch. Carrot, if it was any other round, right, any other weapon in hand, would have been an insane clip. But bygones are bygones, and, you know, the pistol goes the way of Warriors Gold. So this is also something to point out, right, Sam? We kind of glossed over it. Sides swapped the first time for this series as well to close us out.
That it is, right? Yeah. It's going to be Tamu White starting things off on the attack. Get flavors of the defense from the Warriors. So far, looking like an eclectic defense. It's quick pivots, fast turns, and even faster rotates to take your ones and take your chances against these kind of odds. Good utility usage on top of that. That pinch was next level. The flashbang to corral them all back into one spot where they're completely caught unawares. Yeah, that's good stuff. Justin's cam too set up in the right place. They even get the spy cam dart locked on with that as well. Justin's going to rotate back over. First outlaw shot doesn't land, but Cage's going to make sure that you're protected. Anyone else coming up through that location. Trill, meanwhile, going to grab their one, back off towards sand, and smile from ear to ear.
And I did say my concern lies with Dequavius here. No shame to Dequavius with the neon. It was just Pearl moment. But what was the success story? Like, yes, Dequavius been positive on the Yoru on Lotus, but it was the support players that were delivering, right? And I feel like if we can get the best of all the support players here, they'll do just fine.
Gosh.
And that's exactly what we're getting. Swashy, P, Trill, and the Neons just, you know, causing chaos around them to set them up for the success of a near flawless round. And P, the three-piece, the Outlaw recovery, they're not going to be strapped for cash by any means. The bonus.
Not at all. Yeah, Warriors Gold striding confidently into Fracture. And the way, again, right, that they push Texas A&M White into places where they want to go. It's so ahead of the curve, so ahead of the game that, yeah, this may be Texas A&M White's decider map pick, but Warriors Gold is playing this perfectly to a T. Really setting the bar for what Texas A&M White needs to hurdle over to deny the bonus.
Yeah, well, looks like the answer from Tamu is to slow things down just a touch and then to speed things up right afterwards. The challenge, Dequavius, not much utility behind it. The relay bolt a little delayed.
What? Oh
What?
my god!
I lied, it's not delayed. It just had other plans.
Yeah,
Combo.
Trill gets the Vandal too and gets away with it. Swash is going to slow them down. Here's a fast lane. Here's a couple of flashbangs left behind too. And a smoke up for good measure. But yeah, this is bad for Tamu White. And they're still stuck here too, Zobi. They have not moved from this one spot. Meanwhile, it's only less than a minute left to go on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, they use so much utility just to get their way out of that situation, right? Like, you're not going to have a lot of breach utility to break through this Cypher setup on B. Like, at what point do you cut your losses, right? Is it after you see the Cypher utility here? I mean, Justin dancing, they already know the round's over, right? This is just a formality. I mean, what are you going to do? You probably have a cage. I think I see, is it a one-way above the camera? I might be misseeing. It's hard to see overlapped things, but, I mean, it would have been cool to see the spray down off a ping, and they're still going to attempt to maybe off the spike tap, but even look, the mass parade coming from main.
Yeah, up through the flank. They still don't even have the spike landed yet. They're running out of time too. Winter, there was no HP for them. Now they're really on a time limit, right? It's being pushed to the maximum limits that it possibly can go, and now The orbital strike! Zigna has no chance! They don't even get the plant money from that! Sure, they survived, but that is not what you want for at least doing something to the bonus.
Yeah, I mean, P with the orbital strike, a little excessive. I think they had it done and dusted regardless, but I like it. And we talked about how, again, when your big ult players, your big support players are having impact that early, it shows in the later stages. So, nice conversion rate, nice snowball effect here. Again, appeasing the concerns we had about a map that's, you know, been collecting dust in the toolbox for some time for both of these teams. But that does mean it might be just shiny and new once you clean it off. Hasn't been utilized a lot, right? So it's in pristine shape once you look beneath. But the Quavius Pork, looking here a little bit. Again, they just weather all the utility and still fight, right? Without much, like, of their own utility. They just trust in their teammates like Trill, like Swashy, and P, who should have been able to get the trades. But again, this team, they like to fly too close to the sun.
Oh, okay, poor Swashy. Yeah, that's gonna be an orbital strike. And then you
Double
throw in
stun.
the special delivery Pico, making sure that Swashy was not gonna be moving anywhere. Justin, yeah.
Not dancing on the cam this time.
Yeah? Oh, tried to jump over it. Okay, it was nice. It was a nice attempt.
Just trying to bait players towards them for the fight. Play your setup. Play your weapon. It's 3-0. You got some wiggle room here.
Yeah,
And
fine.
Hexan and Whites. I was saying you couldn't dance, bro, because you were in the 1v4. You're still dancing.
Hey, you can't
You're
stop
dancing.
the jam. Okay?
Yeah.
All right. Music's flowing through you. The Warriors Gold, they may lose this round, but they know they're winning the war, Zobi.
I mean, they're the Warriors for a reason, right?
Yeah.
We'll have to see. I mean, Carrot. Opposition. Trucking towards arcade here. See what the time looks like on the spike detonation versus the swing, and it looks like they don't get to clear enough of the deep corners to find where Justin is, you know, a little like, haha, a little taunt to finish things out, but damn it, White. This is kind of like what we mentioned. It all takes is one to bounce back. Money pretty good for both sides, actually, even with the choice. I think that's more of a choice of the Guardian at this point from Pico. And Tamu White, showstopper in hand, so that should be a big ticket item. Utilize the Rolling Thunder last round, right, just to secure the A side, even after the opening kills went their way. They didn't want any heroics out of the Warriors. But look at this. They finally gamble correctly, but it doesn't matter. It's probably a repeat success of Lotus.
Yeah, we probably was a little quiet
Is that
on was a little quiet over there on Pearl, but as quiet as though they are. Oh my
What
gosh.
it is?
The flank is just as deadly. Warriors Gold fighting back with whatever vim and vigor they still have left. The problem is, right, the spike's gonna be planted. Now Trill. And it went out in the 1v3. Those are gonna be tough tides regardless. They may drown underneath them. See how many they can take along into the depths below.
I mean, I wanted Trill and P to come in like that when the round started, not later after all their teammates had fallen, right? After Tamu White had lead sieged Arcade and the B site. Because then you would have maybe had some attention draw, you would have had some split players. Instead, they were all solely fixated on the 3 players Arcade. And, I mean, it doesn't help they probably got ahead of, like, all of that utility combination. Again, maybe recognize the Rays can satchel out, but still, is that forward planning? Again, we mentioned map hasn't been played a lot. Maybe it just, again, don't have as many defaults to go with. Just kind of pulling them out as you go, right? Playing this like a ranked a little bit. Like, okay, guys, let's do a little aggressive play Arcade. Let's do a little aggressive play A main. Which is what we, I think it's pretty standard here for this map. So, Reach Tejo, gonna set up the Neon again. I have seen that Warriors go pretty successful when they find the opening kill over towards A main right now, this map.
And this time, Texas A&M White's not going to play into those hands. They're just going to give up the space, let them take it over, and maybe force the rotate back over. Yeah, Pico annihilating that. But here's the problem. Oh, he's stuck. He can't go. Okay, never mind. They can go somewhere. It's just barely, though, the Aftershock. Chipped away a little bit of the damage, a little bit of the health. But finally, Texas A&M White has their numbers on their side for this one, losing no one to A, and now it's back all the way towards B.
Ooh, one here,
they get over
we
the
go.
they get over the Cypher.
I mean, that's the difference between your Rays and your Neon, am I right? And as a result, Justin's taken out. Again, the B site looking topsy-turvy. And the flank, an ironclad defense. Carrot Good for 2. That's all you can ask of your Sentinel, but the loss is a weapon upgrade now for the opposition. P low HP though, and only a Stinger. I mean, you don't invest the Armageddon here. You just gotta rely on Trill to have a heroic moment and see what happens.
You're gonna have to rely on Trill to get nothing less than an ace, maybe with some support. Look at how tight those angles are. And Trill's already been brought to death's door, finally pushed in with a kick and a shove by Pico. Gonna put P in there too for good measure. Texas A&M White, after a rocky start to Fracture, finding better roads.
2 things. 1, Pico. I feel like they've been flying under the radar. No, we haven't really like talked about them. They haven't really been at the forefront of the discussion. I feel like in this best of 3. So seeing them pop up on the kill feed, have these impactful kills, closures. I mean, they're 1 off from the Armageddon here yet again. Really nice to see. And my only concern or question for Warriors Gold is, when do you take the time out? Do you take it earlier this time? I mean, you still have holding on to the 3-3 tie. You still have some ults and a buy to go with. But last time it was like unrecoverable at that point, right, for the half. And we're hoping that this time around you do use it earlier. So we'll see. Maybe that might be lighter. Maybe they have a plan with these 3 ultimates. But for the time being, we'll have to see if if they can finally disrupt this B take. And it looks like they have.
Yeah, there we go. Pop in with an Armageddon. Swashy's gonna fire back with an Aftershock. Lot of noise being made in towards heaven. Swashy still posted and planted themselves in here. But the loss of DeQuavius Pork, right? That's gonna give out the neural theft. Bingo doesn't need the information though, because they are a step ahead of the game. They're a step ahead of the curve. Problem is, P's right here. And once you get through the Armageddon, oh my gosh, Carrot. You're really trying to make sure that you're surviving inside or through your cage. The spike still needs to be planted. And Winter, down to that, like, what, 25 HP? It's going to be the one to plant the spike.
Oh, here we go.
No.
Justin. The more passive Sentinel hold, they realize they're getting run down on the B site. Play from off site. And Pico, I just highlighted you. I said, you've been going under the radar. Asked and out to perform for your team in the 1v3 this time around. You already utilized the Armageddon earlier in this round when we were going through the ringer on production side. And unfortunately, just the buddy system is too clean. Warriors Gold utilize some big ultimates, but they get the return that they are looking for. They reclaim the lead 4 rounds on the board.
And this is the problem that happens with Texas A&M White when Warriors Gold are able to push them where they need to go. It's Warriors Gold able to run away with the map, and Texas A&M just takes so long to get the spike planted, especially on the B side. They are being bullied by all of the utility that them being denied those opportunities to plant the spike. Warriors Gold, when they get a foothold, they just start climbing the whole mountain.
Well, for now, it feels like we can see the hesitancy from Texas A&M brewing, right? I'm surprised Justin went back onto the B side after the success they found last round from playing off. Maybe it was a credit again to the ultimates, the confidence that they could get the site back. But you don't have to worry about it if you can just slay all the players from the get-go. I mentioned the first bloods and how pivotal they were. Well, Warriors Gold making it look easy this time around.
All right, probably you've been next level with your aim, but unfortunately, Warriors Gold, a higher level, ascended, Carrot, alone. Now Trill, the Executioner, Warriors Gold. Again, right, this has been back and forth between these two teams, but Warriors Gold now pulling 2 rounds ahead, Tamu White.
Oh. Again, this is the tipping point for Texas A&M White. We had the head-to-head ult-to-ult round. Winter, though, 1 off the Rolling Thunder. That's gonna be something, to keep an eye out for. But I feel like for Texas A&M White, like, yes, it's only 5-3, but I felt like it sounded like a broken record. I maybe would have wanted a timeout for them because it feels like they've hit a brick wall, right? You fight a main, you get kind of like bombarded by utility, and DeQuavius Porg actually really good at holding this angle. And now you've kind of like been steerheaded away from the B side quite a few times. Do you just throw yourself into it and see if it keeps working? I mean, that seems to be the option. And that's how, Warriors Gold start to surmount rounds and rounds and rounds ahead.
Warriors Gold, right? Playing a good game against Tamu White. Tamu's also just like deserted any arcade or dish control. Right? They're opting to play fully together as a squad and just pick a side and go for it. Pick an angle and try to make it work. Here it is though, right? One fault line to Quavius, not deterred. They're gonna come back in for theirs. Relay bolt, dip into the corner, make sure to weather the first of the mini bullets. On track for the ace. Slowed down minorly, but they're out of bullets. They gotta go for the reload here, Zobi, but once they do, I can't imagine that things are gonna be different from this point on. Warriors gold. Making it look easy.
Man, I wish they would listen to my advice. I'm like, bro, you're not winning a man control. B is kind of a coin toss right now. You need something different. And they haven't innovated. And that's something I praised them for on Lotus, was their kind of creative strat book. And you chosen this map. It seems like you would have something more prepared. Where's the arcade rush? Where's the drop hit? I mean, we've seen Carrot set up this utility all the time, but then they always play on the side of the team. I'm not really seeing, you know, eventful Carrot lurks. And maybe they were shaken up by Lotus a little bit and how they weren't able to win those ones on the lurks a lot of the time, but I mean, it's map 3. It's a new map. It's a different map, you know? Different, you know, crosshair placement. Maybe you'd be better. But talking about innovation, changing things up, it's Quavius Pork and Warriors Gold taking the initiative.
Yeah, Winter was using the fault line to try and throw them off their game and draw the attention all the way to arcade. They are going to get on the site. The problem is you've lost probably in tunnel. So no duelists to be able to help you out through the rest of this round, especially when they were using the Vandal. They had the Hero Vandal. They had the Hero Buy for this eco round. And it's just fizzled out now. You're looking at the rest of the squad using sheriffs, using whatever they got in the pocketbook. Run in with the shorty. Maybe a couple stingers here and there, but Warriors Gold, an inevitability for these rounds. Now a secured half, no matter what Tamu White does.
All right, we had a 7-5, we had an 8-4. Let's see what the third map delivers. And we're again hitting that pivotal point. Texas A&M White. I don't think you got money. You have some ults. I lied. That was you said last round. 4 rounds in a row. This is where you would take the time out, no? If you lose this round, it's like a 9-3, right? Like your buy is shatter for the last round of the half. You're probably gonna use the ultimates because it's your rightful round, right? Like you're more inclined to, you feel the pressure to back it up when you have the buy. And I mean, unless you have a definitive answer, look, they're doing what I suggested. Try the other side of the map.
Hey, it's better late than never. Finally, though, Texas A&M White. And there's different flavors. 3 at drop, 2 through main. Disrupt the Warriors Gold. Don't let them dump all of this utility in one place. That's exactly what they're gonna do. Here's the orbital strike to try and bring them in this direction. Carrot, before the relay bolt goes off, pulls down to Quavius Port, but it's back and forth. It's a tug of war. Okay, Swashi. I know we disrespected you on Pearl, but you ain't gotta do them dirty like that.
All right. Justin as well. Re-rotates Winter. Some heroics put up, but it's still not enough. The big ticket ultimate's gone. The round still goes the way of Warriors Gold. And things begin to look dire. The economy, the ults laid to waste. Swashi, you're not stressed. You don't need your name's Swashi, not Squishy. Come on. And I mean, you guys have the Armageddon. You're one off from the Rolling Thunder. Ooh, probably Hiko. Okay, maybe it's not as dire as I thought it was. I still want to see them. Yeah, try out the bridge side of the map. See what happens there. They look like they're, yeah, I think they're lucky stars not running into the stack. Look, they've cleared out all of B main, but in reality, they're slowly scaling arcade here. This is what you've got to recognize. Did you hear anything? No, you didn't have a cam there. You didn't have Carrot there. They have no idea that the Quavius Pork is about to go under, but they just given it away by the high gear. Unless nobody's watching?
No one's looking at the Quavius.
Hello?
Look at that rolling thunder. But look at the judge from Zigna. Doesn't matter how much more you can look at it. Probably showstopper. The fuse has just run out. It took so long. That rolling thunder could not have been placed any better by Swashi. Texas A&M White, whatever momentum they were hoping for, ripped down and torn to shreds. Trill's not even gonna worry about fighting this, right? You're just gonna eventually swing back over with a fault line. Utility next level. In sync Pico trying to track him down. Trill running and gunning. Carrot identified. Warriors gold. It's what, 8-4-7-5, now 9-3.
Wow. There we go. Yes, and we received 3 different score lines at the half. This one the most dominant so far. We've had 2 13-5s. Now, I don't want to curse anybody for the time being. 6 rounds in a row from Warriors Gold here. Again, for Texas A&M White, it starts with the pistol if you even want your 9-3 fairy tale to come true. So, we've seen them. When the pistols matter, they get the job done. And, I mean, the defense, you have, like, a go-to composition for the map, right? This was the stock standard when the Teo came out for Fracture, right? When Fracture was reintroduced to the pool. So, you gotta be able to fight and win a main, right? What? Warriors Gold? They were winning every round last half, so can they do it from the other side?
I'm gonna wonder too if Warriors Gold is gonna be bold enough to want to take these kind of fights, or if it's just time to back out and default towards B. And it's looking like that's what's happening here. You see the stealth drone being popped off. DeQuavy is seen by the cam. I'm gonna back off though. They're just gonna hang out in that corner. It's all just about throwing Texas A&M White into a tailspin. Where are they going? What are they going to be doing? How are they going to take these fights? Okay, Trillo, you got to clear your corners there, buddy. You can't let Pico just get that one, right? Surely not. And then maybe offering up more possibilities here, but thankfully they do get the trade, so it's a Tejo for a Tejo.
All right. 4v4. Like you mentioned, post point a little weakened here, but it's a pistol anyways, so you don't have maximum utility. Trapwire confirms there's a few players coming from main, but how many resources do you delegate? Looks like the fault line sent out. I like the response here. Swashi takes some deeper main space, or sorry, deeper spawn space, and you win out the one against Carrot. That's perfect. And DeWavy is reflanking the main players. The timing is gorgeous.
Oh, chef's kiss moment here for Warriors Gold, now sitting on top of the world. Second pistol round of Fracture, 2 for 2. And now it's 10-3. Texas A&M White, if there was ever a moment their backs are against the wall, it's now.
Ooh. Do you force? That's the age-old question here. And it seems like Texas A&M White are looking to sweat it out here. No buy-up. No disrespect on the buy from Warriors Gold either. No Vandals, you know. We'll see what the bonus looks like for them after this. You know, assuming there's no thrifty business out of Texas A&M White. But I do like this. The gamble stack towards A, you know, the singular Cypher cam. Maybe we'll retake cam for late. Or for footsteps over towards B main. And no noise, no utility. Just see what Warriors Gold is feeling. Give them no information to go off of here.
Alright, little stealth drone, you got a lot of work on you, buddy. Not gonna quite go far enough, so information still denied. Look at this, though. Everyone's set up for the utility. Everyone's set up for the firing squad through this smoke.
Oh, no.
The shoulder's seen, though. Probably flushed out of that corridor. And Devious Pork may have found the nice gap of the guided salvo, but it's not going to be good enough to survive through anything else. And look at the rest of Warriors Gold, too. I don't know what happened there.
Got the weapon.
Yeah, they're still under a lot of damage.
Justin had a ghost, right? So they pick up the Bulldog. No harm, no foul. Carrot has beat the rotation, so has Pico, but it's slight. And now they're just kind of the base that you hopefully don't clear out Carrot from this ratty corner. And they don't. No sky smoke. This is the late pivot. No regeneration there. These players from Warriors Gold are so low HP that Zignal might be able to get away with craziness like this. And Winner on the flank. Can the long range frenzy also work against a player that's as low HP as Swashi? Let us see.
But the problem is P right there. And P's a full HP. P, HP. Okay, all right. Fault line, fault line, fault line. But Zignal, they're just going to leave it be.
What?
They're going to take their fights. The aftershocks try and go through. It doesn't matter. Remember, Swashi is holding on to death's door here. Zignal just needs to land one shot. They need to do something. They need to go for the fights. It's the Frenzy Zignal! On top of the world! Texas A&M White. 2 HP for Zignal. 2 HP.
Ouch. And I'm gonna recall some Pearl tendencies and let them resurface here a little bit. We kind of saw on the defense as well. If they lose DeQuavius Pork, I don't know if they're the vibe merchant or what for this squad. It feels like they sometimes look a little bit lost, no? Like that re-hit onto B felt a little bit like misconcocted, looked a little bit like dispersed, right? You knew Pico was tucked over towards Arcade. You knew there was one coming from spawn. And somehow they just piece you apart. I mean, obviously don't want to discount some insane sheriff shots, but that should have been your 11th. Now Tamu White, weapons in hand. You're the ones that are broke. This is a insane conversion opportunity.
The Warriors Gold, I think, realizing their mistakes, really want to make sure that they rectify things here. Try to do to them, or do to Texas A&M White what was done to them, rather. Yeah, it's sneaking in through tunnel. We're on the other side, grab a nice little ult orb, make sure that Swashy's gonna have their Rolling Thunder online relatively soon. We saw the impact that this breach can have. Yeah, it's just neither team seeing anything yet. Warriors Gold really abusing the timer. Gonna have to pick up the pace here or something, because we're at 40 seconds now. They're weaseling their way towards drop.
I like it though, you know, buddy system, pair up here.
30 seconds left.
This looks like the weakest part of the map as well. I mean, unfortunately the breach is rotating back, so you'll have that fault line support, but if you can get out fast enough, you can control that tempo. We know Warriors Gold likes to do. It could work out. You're in. Somehow Deglavia Sport does not get stunned.
Whoa, my God!
That's a gun down! The time though! There's no time!
They gotta get in! They gotta get to the site! DeQuavius may have it, but the rest of the team isn't there! Finally though, they got it just with a second to spare! And DeQuavius is even gonna pick up the nice new Vandal. Stealth drone out. Clear out site, clear out close, clear out everything. Even suppresses down a player. Winter's gonna fire off 2 shots with the Outlaw. Warning shots more so it feels like real. Oh my. Okay. Now it's just the final player left to go. It's just Winter. But as Winter descends, things may be thawing out. We may be looking towards new, better tides. Yeah, you're just messing around. You're playing around with Winter's heart. Maybe if DeQuavius can get back over here, but Trill, picture perfect on the peaks. Warriors Gold. They look at 150, they're gonna put it right back at you.
Wow. That was insanity. We mentioned, right? I mean, the Neon, we've been doubting it, or I have been. And they get to the site past all of that utility. And hit the most insane shot on probably, who's been that hero player for Texas A&M White time and time again. And we think that the rest of the players are getting choked out, that, again, by the utility that you couldn't outpace over towards drop. And less than a second to go, they get the spike planted. And Winter had an Outlaw there. Didn't have the utility because they used it all on drop. So they couldn't force him out of the corner. And now, I mean, they're steamrolling their way towards the 12th. They've won the A main fight yet again. And the Armageddon's just insult to injury.
Yeah, it really is, too. Look at all this investment of the ultimates. At least good recognition from Carrot to back away, but really it's just a stinger, right, that you're going to have to fight with. And P, knowing that someone was going to be crazy enough to dip out of that smoke, it's headshots for days. Warriors Gold absolutely on the up foot here in this 4v2.
All right. There we go.
The tip of the barrel. That's just disastrous. Warriors Gold. It's now time. Match in series point.
Sam had 3 different half score lines. Are we gonna have all 3 maps end in 13-5?
I don't know if I can live my life like this.
Like, okay, it's Light Shields, Bulldogs, a Stinger. Not giving me much, like, hope, you know, inside. Sheriff, even for Carrot. I don't know where that came from. Out of left field. But we've seen them do more with less. And have an aggressive play, right? Last time we saw this out of Texas A&M White, what'd they do? Quavius, nasty timing under pass, right? Difference is this is a proactive team. Whereas Gold, I would not be surprised if Quavius goes right into main.
There's just nothing you can do there if you're stuck on an island. Satchel pack out of there or something, but now Texas A&M White, the whole squad's over on the other side. P, the read is unbelievable. So is the aim, so is that Rolling Thunder. If you were ever doubting the supremacy, if you were ever doubting what Warriors Gold can do, let it be seen right here, right now. But Texas A&M White holding on for dear life with whatever they can. The grip is weakening. The justice
minute.
falling apart. Warriors gold. 13-4 on Fracture. 2-1 in the series.
It's not a 13-5, but it gets the job done nonetheless. They stockpile the ultimates. We said it. That's the biggest speed bump in the driver's test of a comeback. And I mean, we were hoping, right? We went from like both teams' wheelhouses to a map that they really haven't touched too much. And we're like, maybe we'll finally have a level playing field. But, whew, I mean, the side swap clearly mentioned again how important tempo control is. And I mean, the masters of that clearly right now are the Warriors. And I mean, this map, once again, for this team, for Waterloo, like, it's the support players. Trill, 20-9. Swashy, like, I never want to see Swashy on Tejo again.
Yeah.
Never again.
Never again.
Never again. Change your comp on Pearl. I don't care.
This person
Insta-ban it.
This person needs to be a permanent breach player, for the love of God. It makes such a difference. And look at this too. It's so good for the squad. And let's not forget that Tamu White had a 3-round lead going into this map, right? The first 3 rounds going their way. And then for a moment, it was neck and neck until University of Waterloo decided, okay, we're done here. Let's just pull so far ahead and close them out 13-4.
At this point, if I'm ever like working with an esports program and I'm not a coach, I'm gonna like do like mantras with everybody and be like, breathe in, it's okay to take a timeout. Breathe out, it's okay to take a timeout. Like, literally, like UWG had an opportunity on Lotus to take a timeout. They didn't. What happens? They lose at a pivotal moment because the half is too far gone. That's exactly what happened to Tamo here. There was that big round, right? They had the Rolling Thunder. Yep. They had the Neural Death. They had so much, and that was their last real buy when I think it was a 7-3, right? 7-5 half, this would have been a very different map. But that 9-3, and I mean, the second round, or the 30 for thrifty business, that just broke the spirits, broke the economy, and broke your chances at staying in the upper bracket for Division 2 Nationals.
Well, there you have it. University of Waterloo. Warriors gold, taking week 1 under their pocket in a 2-1 victory. That may have some tweaking to do on Pearl, or maybe it's just a map they're going to outright ban from now on. Make sure edge case scenarios like this don't come out and happen again. But that is going to be it for us tonight here on the broadcast. I do want to remind everyone, though, of our amazing sponsor, Winzel's Farm. Fuel your game with Winzel's Farm Snack Sticks. No mess, no distractions, just bold, protein pack flavor to keep you locked in. Whether you're grinding ranked or leading the squad, Winzel's keep you powered up. Grab a stick, stay in the game, crush the competition. Winzel's Farm, fuel for gamers, flavor for champions. Also a reminder of our other sponsor, G Fuel. Use code NECC20 at checkout to save 20% off your order. Want to say a big thank you to our behind-the-scenes production staff, Rare Adam, Chippy, and Reach That for their amazing production work and observing work. And a reminder to all of you out there to make sure to follow the channel because, of course, we still have more exciting Nationals action happening across a variety of different games. Until the next broadcast, everyone, we'll see you then.
Oh, what an awesome day for a pump, dude.
Yeah, I gotta take it easy. Doc says if I exert myself, I will die.
You overexert yourself, you will die.
I'll tell you what, you finish the workout, all these could be yours. That looks good. A little bit of honey ham for the ham. Get after it, and that's your get after it, and that's your treat. Do the exercise, do the work, then you get the reward. That's how this works, man. You gotta give it max effort, maximum effort. That's what I'm talking about, baby. Big hams. Make it work, those hams. Work 'em. Putting in the work. Yeah, baby. Yes. Dude, this is a spicy workout. Gotta make it worth it. Building the beef and bringing home the bacon, baby. I'm loving it. Teriyaki is just about within your reach. Come on, get you some. Come on. Ooh, ooh. Maximum effort. Maximum effort. You're there. You're almost there.
I'm so worth it.